Welcome into the Cam Strick podcast, episode number 255, fueled by First Form, baby.
Yeah. What's up, everybody? Hey, never forget, Andy.
No.
Never forget. And I know this podcast is going out tomorrow, which will be September 12th, but right now it's September 11th, and I just want to throw that off the bat. I knew exactly where I was. I knew exactly where I was in Windsor, Ontario, skipping school with my Firebird Formula 1988.
It's a Hoosier car.
That's a
Hoosier
car. Hoosier car. But it looked cool when you were 16, 17 years old.
T-tops?
Yes, Hoosier car. And it had the big, dragon on the front or the big bird on the front. Yeah. 1988, skipping school, and all of a sudden, Detroit rock radio we were listening to. I remember, man, I had people in my car. And they're like, dude, this shit's going down. I go, let's get back to school. We went to school, and they brought everybody in a room. They told me to go call my parents and stuff like that. All the Americans in the school, go call your parents and stuff like that. My mom and dad are watching it live. I'm talking to them like, yeah. And it was scary. That was the scariest day in our lifetime. Now, there'll be individual people that are going to be like, hey, man, I got trapped in a cellar one time or a well, whatnot. I get all that. But as a whole and as a country.
For the country.
This is the scariest day going, dude. We didn't know what the fuck was going on. Remember, now we all look at it back now. And we know the story. I watched every single one of those documentaries. I've read up on so many different shit.
Do you believe, which documentary is the most accurate one?
There's a lot of different ones. Now, there's conspiracy theories out the ass with 9/11. For the most part, I don't believe any of it. Listen, that fuel could burn metal. It certainly did. Towers went down. Yeah, sometimes the optics looked like there could have been an explosion here and there, but those terrorists tried to get us 12 years before that at the World Trade Centers, but they fucked up because they tried to blow up the basement part.
Yeah.
But know exactly where I was at the time, man. And then I went to Devils training camp a year later, and I think there was still smoke coming up from the Twin Towers, dude. And all those shit kickers out in Jersey, I got to give them a shout out.
To the memorial?
Yes. Oh, yeah. But all those New Yorkers and Jersey guys and girls, I went that first year going in 2002, man, that you could tell, like, everybody. That's when the country was the most together in our lifetime. We're so divided right now. We were divided before this. We were divided in the 60s. We were divided this and that and the other. But that moment brought everybody together.
Yeah.
Do you know what else did?
What's that?
What do you think?
Baseball.
No. There's one other thing that brought the country together.
At that moment?
No, 10 years later.
Oh, because I'm saying
10 years later, what is it? Don't say it.
Football.
Don't say it, Brody.
Because I was saying at the time.
No.
Hold on. At the time, football and sports
for sure
was bringing the country together.
Yep.
President throwing out the first pitch
which
at
was
Yankee
fantastic.
Stadium. You got all the stuff going on. You know, because everything stopped, right? I mean, there were no sports for that. You know, Sunday football returns. It was crazy. Jack Buck gave a legendary speech on the field. I was live for that one. So, so 10 years later, you're asking
what do you think? So the country came together. Now, all the fuck-ups with the war, we don't even want to get into it. Right. I don't want to. There are so many fuck-ups. Weapons of mass destruction. 50 other countries signed off on that before we went and invaded Iraq.
Yeah.
There's a lot of internal bullshit.
2021?
What?
Is that what you're asking me?
No,
you said 10 years later. What happened?
Oh, yeah, but from 2001, it's 10 years later. So now 2012. What was it?
Yeah.
The country came together during 9/11. There's one other time the country came together again. When was it? What happened?
In 2011.
2012.
Okay, because you're like putting me on the spot here.
What do you think it was?
I'm going to come up with it. Just hang on.
We can't. I don't want to waste everybody's time. We got people in Sweden listening, although this affected everybody, dude. So it is what it is. It shut down the world.
2012.
2012. One other time this country's came together. What was it?
Okay.
Barack Obama was president, and he had a lot to do with it.
Oh, really?
Kind of.
Okay.
He probably could have done it earlier. What do you think?
Just give me
who
a
was
second.
Hardcore? Who was scary? After 2001.
Osama bin Laden.
Yeah, goddamn right.
Yeah, the Navy SEALs went and got his ass.
Shit kickers.
Have you watched those documentaries?
Dude, that was a hard. I was in Pakistan.
Can I ask you this?
Islamabad, Pakistan, in a weird, nasty fucking.
They found him on a ship, I think, or threw him overboard. I think they threw him overboard. His body.
No. He was in a compound, hidden, and the Pakistani government knew, and you couldn't even go into their territory.
So how'd they find him?
Through intelligence. Finally, they knew exactly where he was, and they creeped in with 2 helicopters, stealth helicopters. One crashed.
Middle of the night.
One crashed. Bam!
Yeah.
And they had to blow it up so no one takes all our fucking data from all that stuff and
Really?
try to rebuild it. Yeah, dude.
Did those guys, did they survive in the helicopter?
Yes, everybody did. So they crashed that helicopter, got on a different...
What'd they crash into?
They just trying to land in weird ass shit, and they got caught somewhere. Blah 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 blah. Whatever the case is. And then
because it was pitch black.
Black, and they had sonar. You know,
he's hiding out. Like he knows.
Yes,
that
and he's holding one of his wives up, like bulletproof.
In front of him?
Yeah, and when they came and they shot him in the head 15 times, took a picture of him, and then dumped him overboard. I believe from the helicopter.
How'd they know it was him?
Because you know.
And what about the woman? Did she survive?
Hell, I think they shot through her. So
how many women do you think he had in there?
10 in there. Kids everywhere.
Really?
Disgusting
Anybody
place.
survive out of that?
I think the kids and stuff like that did, but I think they'll die for him.
Oh, yeah.
They'll die for him. You know what I mean?
Can I ask you this?
Yeah.
Getting back to 9/11, because, you know, if you remember, and I'm not getting political here, so don't come back.
It's all good. We got other issues we got to deal with.
But I'm curious, because George Bush at the time was like reading like a story to an elementary school. They came and whispered in his ear. Twice. Do you think there's any way that the administration here in this country knew in any which way and form that this was potentially going down, that this was going to happen? Any warning signs of this potentially happening?
I think there was definitely warning signs. I'll give you an example. These Saudi terrorists were down in Florida, and they found maybe all this out afterwards. But there's always intelligence from terrorist crazy stuff going on. They knew something. Now, are they going to pinpoint what was going to happen? Twin Towers, stuff like that. I don't know how accurate their information is, but I bet you they had red flags and warning signs out the ass.
But after looking back, we should have reacted to this. Should have reacted to that.
But you can't overreact and scare the public.
Same thing with the Boston bombers, man. The marathon bombers, man. Those guys were on the list and shit. You know?
Of course. And so I don't know if they were on the, but Osama bin Laden and his crew were being watched by our intelligence and whatnot. But how all set up, I don't know how much information they had. But then you look back on it, and a little lesson we learned. You know, you got people going in some of these flight simulators for hours in Florida. These guys from fucking Saudi. Yeah. All these Saudis are coming over.
That's how they learned to fly, right?
But they ain't landing. So you look back at all their data on the flight simulations that they were going, and they're going through all these schools. The data shows they never tried to land the plane, only take off. And
how'd they land?
They weren't expecting to land. Do you get my drift?
I understand what you're saying, but like when they're doing the simulations.
Yeah, they never landed.
Oh, it's a simulation, so they're not.
No, but you connect all the dots. Like they're doing this for hours and hours and hours,
they're not
days and days.
They're just
practicing flying
30,000 feet in the air.
And trying to build up your speed and maneuver and stuff. They never tried to land the plane, and that's like a red flag out the ass, man.
Can I ask you, just to be clear what you're saying?
Yeah.
Because the simulators, they're not actually flying, you're saying.
No, they're not.
They're in the simulators. So they're not doing actual flights.
No.
You know, where, you know, a lot of pilots obviously have to have a certain number of hours.
Yeah, but you have a flight simulations exactly.
But they never did
they knew exactly what plane they were going to take over. They knew they're smart. These are all wealthy, educated terrorists. These aren't some dipshits from fucking, you know, Middle Missouri or fucking North City.
How do you think Osama chooses who?
Fuck, they're all. Osama bin Laden. You ever see pictures of him when he's a kid? With his wealthy family, 13 relatives and stuff like that. His family's wealthy. All these terrorists are wealthy, educated people. Jesus Christ, he's sneezing. Man, I'm trying to be serious, and Andy, he got to fucking sneeze. I'm trying to break this shit down.
My allergies are absolutely killing me. So I'm not interrupting your breakdown.
God, you're like Brody. What'd you do all weekend? You fucking partying a little bit, dude?
Today I am. You want to hear about my weekend?
Not really.
Okay, well,
I'm trying to break down 9/11, and I don't want to.
Okay,
but I don't want to. Okay, I don't want to bore the people.
But I got more sneezes coming, dude. I'm telling you, my allergies are at an all-time worst right now.
Never forget. We love all you, the people, the fucking firemen, first responders that said, I don't give a fuck. I'm going to go try to save as many lives as possible. The red bandana story. I mean, there's so many storylines. We can get into it for 5 hours. I don't want to do that to the audience. But I just wanted to give a shout out.
Can I share my story?
Yeah, we're going to go from like people saving lives to Andy, you know.
No. My 9/11 story.
What?
Because
you saved somebody's life.
You were in the Firebird, right?
Yeah.
So I was woken up to a phone call. A family member called me, actually, and I had family living in D.C. at the time, and all the phones were out, and so, you know, everyone's freaking out because the Pentagon was, you know, obviously.
Got rocked, yep.
So turned the TV on, couldn't believe it. At the time, I was working at KMOX Radio, and one of the largest radio stations in the country. Their newsroom, you know, obviously, even at that time, was run like a well-oiled machine. You know what I mean? Like, this is like a major newsroom. So I got called into work. We're going round the clock, and I'll never forget, like, a former Cardinals player who was in the Twin Towers, and his wife called us to let us know that he was in the Twin Towers. Tito Landrum was his name.
Really?
I believe he survived, and he was able to get out of the wreckage, and the wife was calling us. I was getting phone numbers. I'm literally calling people in New York to get on the air. I was producing at the time, back in 2001. Wasn't even really on the air full time. But, like, it was like all hands on deck. Everybody's, contributing and called in. And so talking to people who are actually in New York City, first responders, getting them on the radio and whatever, it was absolutely crazy. But being in that environment, in that scene, in a newsroom, in a major newsroom for 9/11 is something I'll never forget, man. It's one of the obviously worst things that ever happened in the country, but professionally, it's one of the most incredible experiences you can ever get because you just can't expect it, you can't predict it, and you're truly doing things on the fly with your hair on fire. It was crazy.
Hopefully that's the biggest and the scariest day as a nation that we'll see again. Now, I don't think that's going to be the case. I think there's going to be something.
I heard there may be a tsunami coming to New York City and the UK.
And that's a stupid thing
in 2025. I read that this morning.
Something needs to happen to trigger a tsunami. You don't just predict it. Like, maybe there's going to be an earthquake in the middle of the ocean somewhere that does get we'll see a tsunami, and it might rock New York City eventually. But there's no scientific data that says, here, this is going to happen. We'll see what happens with that. That's a ridiculous, stupid fucking statement.
Well, I'm just saying.
Let me tell you what causes it. No, could be a volcano.
What caused, like, the big one that we saw, maybe?
A 9.3
earthquake
in the middle of the ocean, and it triggered some tectonic plates, and it built it up.
Maybe he's connecting it. I saw it on Twitter today that he's predicting an
earthquake,
tsunami.
That'll happen
in New York City, dude.
When? So people should know.
2025 is when he said.
Okay. There's volcanoes due. There's earthquakes that are due. Tectonic plates that are just about to erupt. We're going to see a couple nasty natural disasters in our lifetime. But hopefully not a terrorist attack like that. Hopefully not something like that where it shuts down the world. So many people die. So many more people could have died. I do think a couple more conspiracy theories that go along with 9/11 before we move on is, who was the Secretary of Defense back then? What's his name? He announced about $1 trillion went missing, right, the day before, and then 9/11 happened. So all this money went missing from the Fed, this, that, and the other. Rumsfeld.
Donald Rumsfeld?
Yeah. And so he announced that, and then all of a sudden 9/11 happened. No one really talked about that anymore. And then Flight 93, people say that it was shot down just the way and that's, dude, you got to shoot that goddamn thing down. Or else that thing's going right to the White House.
And what was going on in that plane?
That was crazy stuff, man. They figured it out. They knew on Flight 93.
Were there terrorists on that plane, too?
They were getting phone calls. Like, what's going on? Like, there's more planes out there, guys. There's more planes out there.
And that was headed to where?
I think that was going to D.C.
To the White House.
Yes.
Maybe. And they shot it down.
And it went down in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. I used to drive by there on Highway 80.
I remember hearing about that.
Going to Jersey. We'd stop by. It was about 30 miles inland from the highway.
So everyone died on that plane, too.
Oh, God, yeah.
So it wasn't just 2 planes, man. We're talking 3 planes.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot, man. Right into so anyway, every 9/11, dude, I'm done watching all the documentaries, though.
Well, it sounds like you've watched quite a few.
Yeah, well, every year I get on the fix. There's so many different storylines and stuff like that. And in meeting the people out in New
York. You have
a
recommendation, though, like for people out there who want to watch one?
Dude, there's
which one do you suggest?
National Geographic one.
Okay.
The most recent.
Is that
every year they come up with new stuff.
It's accurate, like they're interviewing like the main people.
It's not conspiracy stuff. It's like, this is exactly what happened.
What happened?
You know, they got film of everything.
So
everybody's
$1 trillion was missing the day before?
Yeah.
Oh, did it ever show up again? Or
nope.
You just like lost $1 trillion?
Yep.
Wow.
Pretty crazy stuff. So, anyway, yeah.
So do you know that? Because I was watching on Hard Knocks, which is another show that I'll watch that.
I would too.
Yeah, a great show.
Yeah,
Aaron Rodgers. You see him like see the UFOs, and then the fighter jets chased it down.
They're always by the fucking nuclear plants.
So, you know, I was also reading by the same guy who predicted the earthquake, who said, by the way, that everybody, not earthquake, but the tsunami, who said everybody would be evacuated in time.
I hope they have
also writes about like aliens and stuff like that being examined right now in labs here in our country.
I believe that.
Yeah.
Hey, listen. If somebody's saying there's aliens and down in different parts of Area 51, there's different subparts of Area 51. There's shit
New Mexico.
In New Mexico, there's different by Roswell. There's different areas. Dude, I bet you they're doing all kinds of shit. Now, for this guy to say, here's when that earthquake's going to happen. Why doesn't anybody else?
Tsunami.
They're connected.
Okay, but I'm just saying.
They are connected. Tsunamis don't just happen unless there is a volcano that disrupts the water, and there's so much ash and stuff going into the water, it'll create a tsunami. Okay. But other than that, they're from earthquakes, just like happened in Monaco the other day, or Morocco, I should say. There's a big difference between Monaco and Morocco. Morocco is very poor. Monaco is very wealthy, probably the wealthiest.
Monaco, I've been to Monaco. I was there on my honeymoon.
Unbelievable. But Morocco just got rocked by. But here's my point to your point.
Yeah.
You said this guy is going to predict an earthquake. Has anybody else predicted an earthquake, predicted a tsunami a year before a tsunami hit? Has anybody else? It would have been nice in Indonesia in 2004 when it killed 250,000 people. Yeah. How about in 2011? Why wouldn't they predict that in Japan? Now they can?
This would be 2 years. I don't know.
Now they can?
It's just like the Y2K. Remember
how'd that turn out?
All the prediction with the Y2K.
How'd that turn out? The biggest, stupidest waste of time ever.
It was a scam.
It's a waste of, of course.
It was a scam.
So I don't know who you're talking about. You send me that link, dude. I kind of want to look at it.
Because
that's just I just never heard that before. Like, hey, this is like scientists will predict that we're due. Like they knew that Mount St. Helens was due for something. Then they started hearing little tremors. They're like, oh shit.
Really?
That's why all those guys went to the mountainside, the North Face where it exploded.
That's in Washington State.
Yeah, 1980. It didn't kill as many people as it could have. Because the
wind was blowing. They had like a volcano?
Yeah, one of the biggest volcanoes in our lifetime. Mount St. Helens. You never did your research on that?
I've heard about that, yeah.
Fascinating. They have video of it.
I've seen it.
They have video, dude.
Yeah.
They have video of that. It's crazy.
Oh, really? Of
the
eruption.
whole North Face.
Were they able to time it down where they knew exactly, pinpoint when it was going to happen?
No, they just knew once the volcano starts rumbling and making some noise, you're like, something's going to happen. So there's some volcanoes that are due. We're going to get rocked by a couple. And I told you the worst day in history is 536 AD. And it's when this huge volcano went off, and there was 3 years of winter because all the ash buried the sun. And a lot of people died. A lot of livestock died. We had to regroup. The whole world had to regroup after that.
Do you think we're close to war right now?
Yeah, I do.
Like a World War III?
Damn right. Unfortunately, yeah. I'm not worried about climate change as much. I'm not necessarily worried about a big volcano.
The
number one thing I'm worried about would be World War III.
Somebody at the U.S. Open, the climate change protesters,
stupid motherfuckers.
They cemented their feet to the ground. The paramedics, like they had
rip them off.
Well, they couldn't. They're cemented to the. Now listen,
you're psychotic. You are psychotic.
I wouldn't place judgment completely on them.
They're stopping traffic. People have to go to the hospital. They're stopping.
Crazy.
They're stupid.
Okay,
they're doing the opposite is happening when they do that shit. The opposite. People are like rebelling against you. Like fuck you.
Can I ask you this though? No matter how passionate you were on a specific subject and how much you cared about it, would you be the guy to volunteer to cement your feet into the ground, dude, or your hands into it?
If I had no life and I was a virgin, and I'm like, I hate myself, I don't know, maybe you do crazy shit. You know what I mean? These guys have no life, and they don't know what to stand. They don't know what to stand for. So I got to find something. Like climate change. And listen, man, people scare everybody about climate change and stuff like that. And I think it's real to a certain extent. But people are like, Joe Biden, our president, comes out and says that's the biggest accidental threat to our society is climate change.
Exponential?
Is it exponential threat? Whatever.
This guy's making up words over here.
Existential. Yeah, that's what I meant to say.
The PE teacher.
Sorry, well, fuck.
I mean, he'll help you. Whenever you need help with the vocabulary, look over here.
My point is, though, like, that's the number one thing. I don't think so. People could disagree with me on that. All good. But I think World War III would take the cake, in my opinion. Russia with China, with Iran, and stuff like that. So you can't let it bother you, though. You can only do your homework. And you got to worry about what the fuck you can control, and that's voting, and that's your family, and that's your income and whatnot. It's hard to control. It's good to be updated on things, but if it drives you crazy, you got to step away from it and regroup, because politics will drive you nuts. The news will drive you crazy. You know, you'll think that it's the end of the world. Like, take pieces of it and don't worry as much as you can, because you have no control over
what do you think you are most passionate about in general? That you would go to the furthest extent to prove a point?
It's not necessarily one major thing. I think I have a lot of little things that I'm curious about.
Like cement your feet into the ground at the U.S. Open.
I mean, I just don't do that kind of stuff. I'd like to find a treasure. I like to find something that hasn't been unearthed in 4,000 or 5,000 years somewhere. I like to go down the Bahamas.
Like a tooth or something?
Oh, like a megalodon tooth would be badass. Or say you're cruising through Israel and you're on this camelback, and all of a sudden you kind of look and you see a hole in the cave, in the side of a cave. You're like, what is that? You crawl over there. It's a bigger hole than you think. And you walk through it and you find a bunch of scrolls that date back 20,000 years that talk about how they built the pyramids.
I don't think those are in there.
Yeah. There's...
You're telling me that there are...
Brody, one of the biggest discoveries in human history is the South Sea Scrolls. It's exactly what I just said.
Is it the Red Sea?
Red Sea Scrolls, where this guy in Israel just was like walking in late...
And he found scrolls.
He found a little cave, and it was put a bunch of rocks over it, so they tried to cover it up.
What were the scrolls written on?
On probably cowhide.
Something that would have lasted for...
Something that was written on at that time period.
Correct.
So like 12,000 years ago or 10,000 years ago, that's what they would have wrote that on. It was really interesting, like something like that. Or being down in the Bahamas and cruising around underwater, which just scares me. And I see something gold down there, and all of a sudden you find a badass treasure. Something badass. I like that stuff.
Yeah.
Now, am I going to go creep around caves and spelunk? Is it spelunking? Hell nah. Oh, hell nah. But it'd be cool to go on an adventure and find something that's really, really historic and old. But remember,
that's
in England,
worth a lot of money.
Now, remember, in England, if you go back and you find a treasure, and you got your house in the middle of Yorkshire, you know, and you dig out your basement and you find some sort of cellar from back thousands of years ago, you better hope it doesn't go back too far, because the fucking queen or the state would own that treasure. If it's past 300 years, you got to give it up to the system. But if it's before that, you get to keep it. Who
decides?
Well, I guess Great Britain decides, and it's in their bylaws.
Somebody listening to the show right now has hidden treasures buried underneath their
1,000 billion
where they live.
I might.
I probably do too. No, I probably do.
You know, you're close to the city, dude. This city's old. It's thousands of years old. Did you know that?
What do you think's under there?
Caves. There's caves underneath St. Louis City. There's so many caves in Missouri. Caves. Missouri has one of the top 10 caves system underneath where we're at right now than any other state besides Tennessee and stuff.
Like the Merrimack Caverns.
Yes. Yeah, where Jesse James and all them fucking shit kickers went into. There's caves underneath Missouri where they fucking swindled beer around and stuff like that. Badass.
During Prohibition?
Yeah. But Missouri, St. Louis is thousands of years old. You know what that is?
Oh, yeah, man.
The mounds,
Lewis and Clark and all that, man.
That's not 1,000 years old.
No, but I'm just saying.
That's 300 years old. The Cahokia Mounds here. I've been to the
Cahokia
That's 1,000
Mounds.
years old and still there.
You'll find some
big time.
Some sharp dinosaur teeth.
If you went on the side of the Mississippi River when it's really down low, it's really low, and you crept on the side of Mississippi River throughout St. Louis, which is dangerous to do it during the day. You'll find
doesn't matter.
Civil War stuff.
Day or night doesn't matter.
Yeah, you'll get fucked one way or the other. Civil War stuff, all kinds of shit on the side of the roads. You think these criminals
care if it's daylight?
They don't give a fuck. They'll kill you for your cell phone and make a phone call down the street and get arrested and not even care. Not even care. God, that Sean Strickland? Is he related to you?
No, he is.
Oh, sure you want to be related to him?
What, did he lose?
No, he beat up fucking Izzy, dude.
I've read his
story.
In
Australia. Dude, he's
crazy.
Good old hillbilly boy.
He's been kicked out of several schools.
His daddy beat him.
Oh, really?
Fuck yeah. Hoosier. Grew up with a Hoosier family. He doesn't go out and party and show off and stuff like that. He's hardcore, man.
So he won that fight?
Yes.
Because I saw the press conference. The other dude was acting all cocky to him. And
yeah. Oh, he acted too cool. Yeah. And Sean's just like, I don't give a fuck. And now he's got the belt, dude. I like that Sean Strickland, man. Yeah, he says some crazy shit. Don't get me wrong. But
what does he say that's crazy?
You got to look it up, man.
Really?
He's pretty
like,
hardcore.
Like offensive shit?
Oh, yeah, big time. But hey, man, he called Izzy little China man because he said
that to him during the press conference.
Because he takes money from China and he acts like he's from China and he speaks Chinese just to get the payment out. And this is goofy, kind of like what John Cena did. You're taking money from China.
What do you mean? He's taking money from China.
He's got sponsors in China.
This guy Israel?
Yes.
Where's he from?
He's from New Zealand and Australia and South Africa. He's from everywhere, I feel like. And now he's claiming he's from China because China fucking owns him because they're paying him good money. And Sean, so Sean calls him a China man over here.
So Sean, my cousin, he's American, right?
Oh God, yeah. He's good old hillbilly boy.
You don't hear too many Stricklands out there.
Not tough ones.
Couple of them.
Yeah. So anyway,
I'd like to reach out to him actually.
You guys would have a lot in common, I think.
Well, not if he's talking crazy shit. Maybe from maybe inside the ring we have a lot.
Yeah, we don't need any more of that, especially on Twitter. I know. Listen, all you guys, like we posted something the other day, and listen, was it the classiest thing I could possibly say? No, but like if you're listening to the podcast and you hear me talk about Connor Bedard and the Cougars and whatnot, you just kind of laugh and it goes through. But once you clip that off and you post it on Twitter, I got fucking rocked, dude. And I didn't know Brody did it. And I probably should have told Brody, stay away from goddamn Twitter because they will get you. Instagram.
Can I ask you this?
Hold on. Instagram, no one cares. Facebook, I don't think anybody. Twitter is a different animal.
Let me set it up.
Go ahead.
Because, listen, Cam was talking about his advice for Connor Bedard.
Yeah. Half joking, half trying to entertain.
And that he should go out and get a cougar and whatever.
She'll take care of him.
So it was posted to Instagram as well. And the comments were completely different than the comments that were reacting to the post on Twitter.
Yeah.
So it was put on Twitter, met with,
oh God,
crazy negativity to the point where we had to take it down, right?
Hell yeah, I had to take that down.
Because it was like we're like, whoa, we don't know where this is going. It's one area, man, I will say you just don't want to get yourself caught up in is the Twitter mob because they'll get you. They are the most dangerous group in America, really, right now. And they will take something completely out of context and make you look like the worst human being on the face of the earth. So the way they were reacting, it was like, oh, my God, because on Instagram, and I don't know why this is, but I feel like it's more of like people who truly like get the podcast
or they know you.
The podcast.
There's people that know you, actually.
And, they were kind of like, this is, reacting to what it was, which was, something that was meant to be entertaining and funny.
Yeah.
And they were laughing along with it. On Twitter, completely different, man.
Oh, my God.
Why do you think that is?
Because I think that you have a different mindset on Twitter. It's a lot of people that need to correct you. They feel like they're in this group of people that once they find something that's a little edgy. Now, I don't know what they're trying to pinpoint me on. I think it was misogyny more than anything because it's not a racist thing. It wasn't like LGBTQ stuff.
They were acting like
it was
you were talking about a child.
A child, yeah. Or I was talking about an older man trying to get a young girl, but it was a complete opposite of that. It's like, don't take advantage of anything. It's more like if you meet an older woman, she has a different mindset than a younger woman, but I'm doing it in a funny way. They called me a pedophile. Fucking one guy's like, you suck, you asshole, you got CTE so bad, I hope you bad. I'm going to rub my nuts on your face for that. I'm like, Jesus.
He said that.
Then they're like, how dare Andy has 3 kids? Yeah, and I'm like, okay, that's enough. I'm like, that's enough. Bringing you up with your kids? I said it. I looked at all their profiles. Oh, a lot of pronouns. Oh, good. No big deal. But not one of them followed me. Not one of them followed you. Not one of them followed the podcast. Not even anywhere. So that's the difference. You attract people that have nothing to do with you on Twitter. The people on Instagram are all hockey people. It's like a better algorithm, I look like. So this got a little crazy, man. I haven't got rocked like that in a while on Twitter. That's why I stay away. I fucking hate Twitter. I hate it. I hate even being on there. Like, they piss me off. Yeah. And it's just so funny. If somebody chirps you, it's like a buddy. Or these people, and not to mention these people that were getting me, they had like a bat signal where they started tagging this one dude up in Canada. Yeah. Like, get him. Okay, get this guy. Get him. And like, I thought these people are better than me. When you start chirping me about my CTE and mental health, Like, I could have gone back and like, hey, tripping mental. I thought you're like virtue.
But you were telling me at the time, and listen, Cam was so.
I was rattled.
He was like calling me nonstop, and I wasn't even like really reacting
I was
to
getting
it
phone calls
because I wasn't following it.
Yeah,
you were getting phone calls.
I was getting text messages from people and stuff like that. Like, damn, dude, you're getting
really
rocked on Twitter.
Like who? Friends of yours?
Yeah, yeah. And then I got phone calls like, and then like Losey and all the hockey guys.
I know who was reaching out because he reached out to me too.
Not just him.
Okay, because that's the only way I knew.
Yeah, but whatever.
Yeah.
Whenever I'm getting rocked, somebody let me know. I had a meeting downtown with Eddie McVeigh. My mind having a good time. I'm going home, and all of a sudden I get my phone's blowing up. Like, dude, you're getting rocked on.
Yeah.
That you're like, whoa.
Very, maybe the most uncomfortable feeling.
It's such an uncomfortable feeling. Like, damn, like bashing me, dude. People that don't even know you. Mm-hmm. Then I'm like, maybe they'll reach into more things and dig up more things about me. And then now they got the bat symbol going on with all the nerds up there.
So Cam's calling, and he's very emotional.
Yeah, I don't want people to get you.
And you were saying that you thought maybe that a lot of these Twitter accounts are robots.
Well, there's some that were bots, and you could tell because it's all dudes.
How can you tell a bot?
Because they have 0 followers. And they just retweet. That's
not true.
And they just like everything. Boom,
a lot
boom, boom,
of
or
robots
whatever.
have like.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the ones I'm talking about, they have nothing there. It's like a faint picture of something, and they just like everything that's going against a certain thing, right? Yeah. But it's all grown men. It's really odd. It's not women.
I guess.
It's not women.
How do you know, dude?
Because I'm looking at their profile. Mm-hmm. It's Sam Pfizer from wherever, and him, and he's got stuff, blah, 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 blah. And they don't follow me. They don't follow you. They don't follow me. It's all grown men. Mm-hmm. Grown men. It's very odd.
I bet you that if Connor McDavid heard that, he would probably chuckle.
He's just going to laugh, dude.
Like, it's not, it's a hockey podcast.
You're 18 years old.
Even though we don't talk hockey all the time, but
summertime. I mean,
I know, but it's, we're just trying to have a little bit of fun. And, I hope he finds a.
Really weird.
I hope he just focuses on hockey. To be honest with you,
they're like fucking. Oh man, and not to mention, Sheldon Kennedy just had like a big, huge meeting and like Hockey Canada seminar about toxic masculinity.
Yeah,
and that's got me written all over it. You know what I mean?
And he's come on with us.
Yeah, he's cool. He was cool, but now it's like this toxic, this shit that's going on in Hockey Canada. And I think they're just like on edge, like we gotta stop this, And I'm like, I have nothing to do with that.
No, I would imagine the Hockey Canada stuff is going to come out very soon. I mean, you got training camp right around the corner.
Yeah.
So if in fact that something's going to go down, then we're going to hear about it very soon. So
but they're trying to change the culture of hockey.
I know, but
I get that, but you know what? Masculinity for a boy that's going through life is going to help him. Mm-hmm. It's better to be fucking a monster and control it. You need to become a monster and control it.
How about just be a good person?
But like in hockey,
I hear you.
Okay. But just like you tell Ty, go in there, get it.
Yeah.
We'll control you. Right. Go do it, and I'll set you. We got to tone you back a little bit. That's how you want to be when life. You're go-getting. You're calling people. Maybe you want to be more aggressive than not. Mm-hmm. And so that's part of masculinity.
I got you.
Just don't treat girls like shit.
It doesn't mean being a dick.
Don't be a bully.
Okay.
Kind of stuff like that. But you want to be a go-getter. How about you be masculine? You stick up for everybody in class. Mm-hmm. Stick up for that kid that's getting bullied. How about that? That's masculine too.
We remind our kids at the end of every practice that if you see a kid sitting by himself in the lunchroom or whatever,
go sit by him.
Go sit by
him. Damn right.
See how he's doing. You see a kid being picked on. Hey,
go be a superhero.
Go protect him.
Damn right. That's masculine.
You're a hockey player.
Be a good masculine. Yeah. Have a good masculine attitude.
Yeah.
Don't always have to be. He's such a women. No, it's more like I'm a shit-kicking motherfucker, but I'm going to stick up for this kid and be cool and nice to people. You know what? The girl's going to be all over me, too, and I'm going to be good with them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Joe Quenneville and Stan Bowman, man, just like them. And they just went to Chicago. They had that coaches and I think the GMs were all there, kind of like meeting.
With Sheldon, when Sheldon was speaking?
I don't know if he was speaking there or not. You can double-check that and see if that was all taking place in Chicago. But I think Joel and Stan asked the NHL from what I read and also what I'm being told if they could speak to the GMs and the coaches. Like, it's all part of the process to save, I don't want to say save face, but to like take those necessary steps that optically from everybody on the outside and for the league, for them to be able to do this, address people, and then they can feel comfortable eventually saying, okay, now you can come back and work in the NHL because you did X, Y, and Z. You know?
And that's how it works. Is this the most boring time for hockey right now? Or is it starting to kick going a little bit?
I think we're
this week.
I think we're just going to start exiting.
Let's get going.
Out of the most boring time of hockey.
Good thing there's other shit going on. Like,
hey, did you see all this shit going down on Twitter of like Ryan Callahan, former captain of the New York Rangers, played a long time, Windsor Spitfire, Guelph Storm.
Guelph Storm, right? We won.
Yeah. But he's like going at it with like a couple of media people because like media people are being critical of the Pittsburgh Steelers having their logo on the floor of their locker room roped off so people don't step on it. Now, I was taught from the first day I showed up covering an NHL team, dude.
You don't touch the damn thing.
You don't touch the logo. I don't think it's that hard to not touch the logo. In high school, there was a logo you put in the middle of the locker room. We were taught you don't ever put your jersey on the floor.
No.
In football, in high school football, you never, ever threw your helmet or put your helmet. You had to have your helmet down on the ground a certain way.
Or on your head.
Yeah. You couldn't just have it laying there. Yeah. You know, you could not walk on the logo in high school. And I know a lot of these newer dressing rooms and people are pointing it out and saying, well, now people are finally getting it because the newer dressing rooms, they're putting the logo on the ceiling and no longer on the floor. But I can't believe certain media are fighting with like Ryan Callahan. Ryan Callahan's it's like, hey, listen, that's our dressing room. You know, people are coming into our room, and if that's all we can ask, that you don't step on our logo, like what's the big deal?
Yeah,
you know
settle down. What was their rebuttal? What were they complaining about?
Oh, like it's a joke, you know, whatever. I mean, just you have to go back and read some of the stuff.
Sometimes you got to play on a team to realize that. Sometimes, you know what I mean. Sometimes you got to really play on a team and understand the value of the crest on your jersey, and don't put the damn jersey on the ground. God, Lou would have killed us if we threw the jersey on the ground. Like, really would have fucking, the trainers would be like, whoa.
But I'm surprised that so many people think that it's a ridiculous ask to not walk on a logo.
Because it's an easy argument for them. Like, well, we got a job to do. We have to stand somewhere. I can't stand there. Now I got to walk around this. I can't get my sound. You know? Because of this? Because of some superstitious idea, I can't get my sound. Is that what they're kind of saying? Or are they just like joking about it?
No, it's not a joke.
Was Callahan getting bashed?
Some people were supporting him. Some people weren't. But I give him credit for
jumping in the jungle,
jumping in the
fire
conversation, which
he
probably regretted like right away.
Jesus,
like, oh my God.
I know. Listen, you're not going to win.
But it's like the former captain of the New York Rangers, like an NHL player who's like, no, you come in our locker room. That's our room. It's not your room. You're allowed to be in there. You have a job to do. Yeah. We respect that you have a job to do, but don't walk on the fucking logo. Like, is it that hard to not walk on the logo?
I would say no. But
now some people are accidentally going to do it, and accidents happen. But just know when you walk into an NFL locker room or an NHL dressing room, if there's a logo on the ground,
or if you're a kid,
don't step.
Everybody's like, don't. If you're a kid,
but we were taught that at a young age, dude.
Dude, as a child,
you know what I mean.
And then like as a kid, like you're in a different locker room, and everybody's like, dude, remember, don't do that. And all of a sudden, you and your buddies look at each other like, yoink, you know, and like step on it because you're a child, and you're doing childish things. But when you're a grown adult and they tell you the team tells you not to do it, just listen to them. No big deal. Yeah. You babies. Oh, I don't know. They're gonna come after me now. Man, God. I'm sorry.
Don't clip that off.
I know. And put it on Twitter.
Could you imagine you put that on Twitter?
Man, like, don't get me wrong.
They're
I'm not gonna be a
get
pussy.
you.
Like, I'm not gonna act like a pussy on here because they got to me. I'm just not gonna post it on Twitter. We're crazy on here. I don't care.
It's a very lonely feeling when they come after you.
Oh, Andy.
It's a very empty feeling.
I'm like, I can handle this.
No, you can't.
No, you can't. They were digging at me bad. And I'm like, and then they could have like brought up other things too, and then started another snowball.
They could have looked into your past.
Yes.
God, they would have dug up.
They would have got me, man. Got me. Like I'm a demon.
You're an easy.
Like I try to be a good person. I try, man. I try. But when they talk to you like you're the devil, like you're the Satan.
Maybe you are.
And I'm killing people.
And then you start thinking you are.
And they're like, remember what you said in 2011? Satan, I'm going to rub my balls on your forehead.
Oh, my God. I don't know who's saying that.
I go, word?
Nobody's saying that.
I go, okay. And then like, your CT, your brain's fucked. I'm like, yeah, my mental health, it's not good. Who knows? I probably have a problem in like 20 years. I don't know. Maybe. Oh, dang. You know? I thought they were better than me, though. Aren't they supposed to be a better person?
Well, they are.
But they're chirping my mental health, and they couldn't really pinpoint what they like. You couldn't put me in one category with that post. You know what I mean? I think misogynist, maybe, perhaps that could have been it.
Well, how do you define misogyny?
I don't know.
How do you define that?
I could get what's these girls gonna do? They better come over here and suck me off. I don't know, something like that.
Oh,
I didn't say that.
That's not what I was.
Yeah, but I didn't
didn't
say
know
that though. I didn't say take advantage.
No.
You're a handsome dude. You're a stud.
Why don't you just say what you were trying to say?
I just did.
No, what were you saying?
Well, when I was young, I did kind of hook up with older women when I was young, and they honestly, compared to the younger women, they took care of you.
I think
they're not going to get you in a jam. Not women that are married, they're divorced, and they get down, they understand the game. And you're cool. They cook you dinner and stuff like that. And it's like they'll take you home.
Are you trying to say because he's coming in to professional sports under a much different like microscope than and much higher profile than like 99% of the players that come in. So you're saying just focus on hockey and you know if
you have to
don't be trying to like get involved in a relationship right now.
Hell no.
That's going to distract you from playing hockey.
100%.
Okay.
He's 18. He's going to attract 18-year-old girls. Dude, they're not ready for you yet, man. You're a big dog, dude.
Superstar.
You are a superstar. And I know, dude, hey, he might look like a child, but he's going to have to get his rocks off right eventually. Like you're 18 years old. You're full of piss and vinegar. Yeah. You're drinking protein from First Form every goddamn day.
What does that do to you?
Makes you horny.
Oh, really?
I know. And so you're like, and like if you got to let it out, like there's cougs that will just be nice to you.
There's what?
And cougars that will take care of you and make sure you're on time and stuff like that.
Right.
God, I know.
Oh, make sure you're on time.
Yes, like they really look out for your well-being. The 18-year-old girls like, meet my friends, do this.
I think
see
Corey
that.
Perry and Nick Foligno and Taylor Hall will help him with that too.
Are they sleeping together?
No,
I'm sorry.
Making sure that he's on time.
Are they sleeping together? Is that where he's getting his rocks off?
No.
Sometimes you have to meet up with a girl to get your rocks off.
Yeah.
You're a superstar.
Yeah.
You're fucking walking. You're a walking testosterone. My point is, if you have to do it, go with them instead of a young girl. No big deal. I love women.
I think the NHLPA should hire you to like travel around and go speak to every training camp in the NHL. Guys, before we break for
I could talk to you about a lot
for the
of
weight
things.
room for our get our lift in, guys. We have a special guest who would like to address the team for a few minutes. We brought him in. Let's welcome in Cam Jansen.
Hi. All right, all y'all listen up right quick. You got to bang them cougars. Jesus. What a hoosier.
I would stop while you're at it.
I'm not doing anything.
I'm just saying.
I didn't do anything.
I'm just saying I would probably.
Brody's cutting it off. Brody's clipping it off right now. He's going to
put it on Twitter twice.
Say Cam hates women. Listen to this. Oh, God. Anyhow.
Well, why don't you give an apology to Connor?
Why?
Well, I'm just saying it, in case he was upset.
Like, you want me to delete it, that's fine, but to go out and apologize to people for what?
Sometimes deleting is just the best
delete it. It stopped right away. God, it was a snowball turning into an avalanche.
Did you lose sleep?
No, but it's on your mind.
It was deleted.
Because it's on your mind.
If you hadn't deleted it.
No, because I'll wake up in the middle of the night and I'll look at I'm like, I just got to, what if Twitter's, if there's like, you look up and there's like 50 different mentions, you're like, oh my God.
Hey, listen, we just had week 1 of the NFL, and as popular as the NFL is, the product is fucking terrible right now in the beginning of the season.
Wow. Boring.
Terrible. It's like they don't get any training camp. All the superstars don't even play. Like in hockey, the superstars will get in some preseason games.
Oh, yeah.
Like nobody.
There's 7 of them.
I know. Like they play like 3 of them or 4.
They'll play 25 minutes in a preseason game.
Right.
You gotta find your timing, dude.
These NFL guys, they don't even play. So then they show up week 1. Everybody's paying full price. And you're going like to sell out stadiums. And they can't even like complete a pass. Like I know. They look terrible. I know. And now it's going to change. You know, once you get 2, 3, 4 weeks in, the product obviously is going to be unbelievable, but it just looked terrible. For the first week of the season, the product, in terms of the sharpness, I can identify.
Yeah, you can.
From my time playing football, Cam.
Yeah.
It looked like watching like a high school football game.
How about that guy from the Chiefs? Tommy? What's his name? Dropped like 5 passes. Tony?
Yeah.
Dropped like 5 passes in a row. Like,
and
legitimately, he lost the game.
In football,
he lost the game.
In football,
he lost the game.
They were literally like they will like.
Hey, Patrick Mahomes,
they'll cut you the next day.
Oh, goddamn right.
Like you'll just get cut.
Yep.
With no guaranteed money.
None.
Like back on the street.
Yep. Unless you're like a big dog and you sign for 175 like Nick Bosa did. And he's got 125 guaranteed. You're good to go.
Remember
but that's
a
big dog.
That won Hard Knocks, and they cut that dude, and the coach said, "Do you have any questions?" He goes, "Can I call my mama?"
Oh, I know. It's sad.
No,
I don't like laughing at that.
Because it's like, where do you turn? Where do you go?
You're right.
They just basically like,
it's over.
Everything's regimented. You're told when to show up, where to go, what days to be there. And now all of a sudden, just like that,
it's over.
It's over. Although, you can re-sign with another team. And you hear like guys who like end up
practice squad and all that.
Oh, they jump on with like 3-4 teams before they finally get an opportunity to actually play.
It happens all the time.
So it's not over in terms of their career, but it's like, where do you go? Are you going back home? Like, what are you supposed to do? So I do feel for those kids, man. But it was just a great line. You don't see too many players say that. You know, normally they're like, "Thanks, coach, I appreciate it," and then they're like, "Holy, like, what am I supposed to do?" You know.
Well, yeah. No, you call your agent for one.
He wanted to call his mama. That's what he said.
if remember that time I kind of fucked up, and I don't really know exactly what I did, but Lou called me in the office and he threatened to send me home. Mm-hmm. If he said, "You're going home right now," I'm like, I gotta call my mom. Mm-hmm. Like because I didn't have a cell phone, like or whatever. I gotta call my mom. So I get it, and I'd be crying, Andy.
Yeah.
And you laughed at that, and I don't like that. I'm virtue signaling now.
Oh shit!
You like how I'm changing? I'm gonna be just like the people on Twitter.
That's
what I'm gonna do.
It was like an entertaining show.
No, everything you say, I'm gonna evaluate it and make sure
you didn't have like a personal tragedy happen, and I'm laughing at that. I'm not even laughing at it. It's just a great line.
No, I know. I get you. How about the one dude that had like 25 kids and he couldn't name them all?
Yeah,
Camardi.
That was Camardi.
That was back in the day.
That's the greatest line in the history of hard.
I got
like 4 or 5 of them were the same age too. You know what I mean? Like they may have even had the same name.
Smash and everything. In the like Nick Cannon style.
Should there be a law? Let me ask you this. Some people are being critical of like a couple on Twitter. They have like 10 kids. And Shaquille O'Neal just bought them a brand new like van or something. And people are like, why are you having that many kids if you can't afford a van or a car?
Well, you get more money if you're a single mom.
No, they were married.
You have more kids.
They were married.
You get
and Shaq does this shit all the time, man. Shaq is one of the best people out there. This guy's buying homes. He's buying cars. He's got a foundation that basically does this for people. And so obviously you have to like meet some level of criteria, and I'm sure you apply for it, or somehow, some way, Shaq hears about your story to the point where he wants to buy you a car. But people were like just being very negative and criticizing this family on Twitter, I believe.
Are they mom and dad still together?
Because they're like, why are you having so many kids if you're struggling that much?
Well, that's a damn good question.
Yeah.
Oh, oops, we had 10 kids. Well, what the fuck?
So
stop blowing it.
Should there be a maximum number of kids you can have?
No, because people could still. I mean, it's not the 1930s where you have 10 kids are working for you. Now it's like kind of becomes a pain in the ass, and you can't give them all attention.
Patrick Kane, though, going to the Detroit Red Wings makes 0 sense.
I agree.
Why the hell would he go there? And nothing against anybody who's there already. They've got a good young team. They've got Dylan Larkin. You got good veterans, obviously, with David Perron. You got Morris Sider. You've got a goaltender in Billy Husso. Obviously, they just got DeBrincat. Like, they've got some pieces. But Patrick Kane, who's not even going to be available until after the season starts, don't you think he's going to want to sit back and see how all the teams are doing and say, okay, where can I go to put myself in a situation to win another Stanley Cup? So listen, the guy who started this, I had a player send me the tweet who like started this whole rumor. And it didn't even make any sense in the tweet originally. It was like, look for him to sign there. And then it was like, only if the Red Wings actually want to sign him and if he wants to go there. And it's like, okay, it's not, it was like his opinion.
Like the Onion.
Nothing wrong with like putting it out there, but it's like, it wasn't like a definitive report and everyone's reacting to it. So listen, could I see Steve Yzerman having interest because he's got cap space and wanting to bring a great player like Patrick Kane into his dressing room? Well, sure. I absolutely could. But there's also other teams that have some cap space. And I would think Patrick Kane, if it's up to him, that he's probably going to want to go to a team that is truly in position to win a Stanley Cup. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But that's the way I would try to use my common sense here.
I mean, I just listened to a thing on Stevie Y did a press conference in Detroit after he just did his first press conference of the year. And I'm just like scrolling through YouTube and I listened to him. And they ask him about playoffs. He's like, look, is our goal to get to the playoffs this year? No. It's to be a better team. So he's even like admitting
exactly.
They're not even thinking about the playoffs. Why would Patrick Kane want to have anything to do with that? For like $1 million more?
To go play in Detroit with DeBrincat?
No, he'll take less money and play somewhere.
Everyone's like, well, DeBrincat's there.
Doesn't matter.
And they had great chemistry in Chicago.
So what? He has chemistry with anybody. He wants to go win.
Hey, everybody
go to a rebuild.
I think everyone should be careful leaving Patrick Kane off of all these USA rosters too. Like, I mean, he hasn't been healthy. I want to see how he looks when he comes back from the hip surgery, and if he's even close to resembling his old self, man, I want him on that roster. There's something nostalgic about having a legendary player put the C on and be on a team with all these great young up and coming Americans.
If you had to have your top line of anybody in the NHL, who would your top line be consisted of? Your center, your left wing, and your right wing. Right now, who would it be? Go.
Well, McDavid, Matthew Tkachuk, and oh man, I might put like
somebody that it's not the best. It's like who would complement each other?
I might put like a Panarin or something like that up there.
Panarin.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, listen. You can't really go wrong, Cam, with so many different like elite superstars in the game today. I don't know. Who are you putting on your top line?
I haven't thought about it yet. I want your who your D? Just curious, baby.
I would say
sometimes these are good clips for Brody. Brody fucking gets a rock hard on for when we talk like this kind of stuff.
I would say probably.
Who are your D?
Man,
damn boy.
There's a lot of good defensemen out there.
I know.
Dude.
Who are you picking?
This is
hard.
Like I feel like LeBron. I feel like LeBron being like, when they ask him, like, what's your favorite Drake song? He's like, oh, I like all of them.
Or how's that Malcolm X book? Oh, that's good. what page are you on? 1.
I will say Quinn Hughes just got the C in Vancouver. I'll give him a shout out.
I saw that. Well, you'd have Kyle McCarr.
I would have Cale McCarr 100%.
And you'd probably have Hedman. A righty and a lefty.
Hedman or a
righty and a lefty. I'll do it for you. Okay. There you go.
I mean, yeah.
I'm just curious,
I'm thinking like...
Just curious.
You know, Roman Josi pops up.
Pops in. He's good, too. Goddamn.
Adam Fox pops up.
Yep.
Heiskanen pops up.
Hey, you know the Blues don't have a top 50 hockey news. Top 50 players currently right now. The Blues don't have one.
I don't like playing those games, by the way. I'm
sorry.
It's not normally something you would ask me.
We're getting close to hockey season, man. I was just curious what you're thinking.
My top line. I mean,
my bad.
Yeah.
You should be happy I'm asking you questions like that. When we say another stupid thing we post on Twitter, at least we're getting into hockey.
I got you.
But the hockey news, which I like, man. The hockey news is kind of cool, man. It's thick as shit. My dad reads it. He tells you. My dad's so funny. He'll quiz me.
Is it as good as it always was back?
It's pretty fucking good, thick, dude. It breaks down every single prospect.
Like a preseason magazine?
Yeah. Every month they'll send it out.
Oh, so they still do that?
Yes, it's huge. It has every detail.
They stopped.
No, my dad's still getting it. Every detail of every player, every prospect, everything. They rank everybody. It's so funny. You know, my dad started texting 7-8 months ago. So he texts me and he gives me pop quizzes like we do like on the radio or whatever. And he'll be like, who's the top 50 players? And like little as you know, I could just look it up real fast and just like tell him.
And you just list off the top 50.
Every single one. Maybe I'll like switch up.
And he's like, wow, you're ready for the big time.
He's like, whoa, you're really into it. But I looked. He did that to me the other day. The Blues don't have a top 50 on that mug. I don't know what that means. I'm just saying. I just throw it out there. No big deal.
Yeah.
If you had to predict, though, with the St. Louis Blues, and I know we have audience everywhere in the world, and that's fine, but we've got a pretty big audience here in St. Louis.
Yeah.
People are getting a little anxious for the season here. What's going to happen? As of right now, with their roster constructed, in your opinion, are they a playoff team? Are they going to squeak in? If you had to throw a coin down as a betting man, what would you do?
Well, I look at the division, first off, right?
Yeah.
And I say, Colorado and Dallas, or Dallas and Colorado, are probably the two big dogs.
Big time.
And then after that, you look at everybody right now in the division.
What's Minnesota?
Minnesota is a team that I never give enough credit to going into a season, and then I'm always proven wrong the last couple of years. They're way better than I give them credit to be every year. And are they going to be as good as they have been the last couple of years? Again, this year, I never believe in Minnesota, which is why they lose in the first round every year in the playoffs too. So, they never get it. They always are who they are in the play. They can never get past anybody in the playoffs.
No, I know.
They're never that good to me, but they win a lot of games.
Yep.
So
they're pretty consistent in the regular season.
They are, man. They are. And I like the way they're built with the toughness and all that they always have,
Yeah,
So,
Patty, give you a little shout
they're probably the third best team in the division. I don't think there's any question. But Arizona's not great.
Sure they are.
Nashville is not great. Winnipeg isn't great.
Winnipeg's goofy.
So,
Chicago's
not good. So can St. Louis compete for that final spot in the division? Listen, the way I look at the Blues is I don't think they're ever going to be comfortably sitting in a playoff spot. I think it's going to be a grind all year. But they're not San Jose. They're not one of these teams that are going to be a bottom feeder either, where they're going to be out of it at Thanksgiving and have no chance to ever play catch-up.
It's going to be a long year.
So they're going to be in the mix, and I think they're going to be in position, if everything goes well, to be able to play meaningful games when the calendar flips to April, late into the season. I think their goaltending's better this season with Joel Hofer coming here, as opposed to having
give him a little competition,
as opposed to having Jordan Binnington have to play every single night.
Yeah.
Like he did last year. Thomas Greiss was obviously done.
Backup, yep.
Their defense and their penalty kill cannot be any worse than it was last year. It was absolutely historically bad.
Yes, it was.
As bad as we've seen it in a long, long time. So I will guarantee you one thing, that the defense will be better than what we saw last year. The PK will be better. I've seen a lot of Mike Weber recently, too, who's now on the Blues coaching staff. His kids are playing hockey here in town. Great dude. Been running practices, man. He's just a hockey guy. So
I liked him, man.
He's new to the coaching staff. He'll be running the D, man, and that's going to be the challenge for him and that coaching staff, is to improve what we saw last year defensively.
That's all I asked.
Yeah.
No big deal.
Yeah. Hey, did you know that everybody is allergic to mangoes? Some form of allergy to mangoes. Everybody has an allergy to mangoes.
Mango?
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck. I'll eat that shit.
Everybody has an allergy to that.
See, is this like a random little? He saw this on the back of a Sunkist or something, where you peel off something on the back with one of those kids, little drinks, little fruit drinks, and there's a little thing hey, people are is that where you got that from?
No, that's not where I got that.
Who cares?
Everybody has an allergy to it.
All the shit going on. That's what you're worried about.
How many dreams do you have a night?
Man, my dreams get bizarro land.
What are you dreaming about right now?
I told you guys this. I have dreams of not going into training camp overweight. And I'm going to go on the ice, and I'm going to cough, and I'm going to have no energy, and I'm going to get my ass kicked somewhere, and I'm going to look and embarrass myself, and Lou or Doug are going to get mad at me, and it's going to be in the paper. It's because I'm out of shape. Yeah. And it's still in the back of my head, especially after Sunday nights are the worst for me, because Kate and I are we're getting barbecue, we're watching college football, blah, 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 chilling.
I forgot.
Hanging out. I'm a college football kind of guy.
Kirk Herbstreit here.
Yeah, I know. I'm not breaking it down. I'm just watching it.
What do you think of Deion this past week?
Deion's awesome, dude. And Shedeur.
Shedeur
is a shite kick and sound bitch.
He was getting into it with the Nebraska players at midfield.
I know, because they went and stepped on the guy's
They stepped on the Buffalo.
Including the coach, which is very odd.
That is odd.
Yeah, and fucking prime time's get on with yourself.
You think it's weird?
I ain't playing no more.
Prime time? Would you want to have your dad as your college head coach?
They've been coaches, dude, in Jackson State or whatever it is, and in high school. Imagine your daddy's coaching it,
and in youth football.
Yes, so that's awesome.
Is it?
It's working, dude.
Mm-hmm.
He's the biggest big dog going.
Shadua.
Dude,
Deion is on
style.
every commercial.
Dude, Deion's a man. And he preaches well, dude. It's a good...
He's like the most well-spoken.
He's got a little bit of Lou in him, but he's got a little bit of like, okay, be yourself. Kind of like, untuck your jersey. You don't have to shave. Da-da-da. Like, it's like, he's got
well,
that,
if you remember Deion back in the day, man, no one had no charisma and flash and flair than him, man.
Motherfucking primetime baby. He created primetime baby. And so
high stepping from the 50-yard line.
But he's like, I was too much. Y'all.
I haven't heard him say that.
No. I'm saying, like, right now, if like people did something crazy and got penalty, he's going to call them out. You know what I mean? Like, he still has a balance of you could be yourself, but damn, we're disciplined. And you play for the crest, and you treat everybody great. And this, when you're walking around, you're nice to everybody. Like, he literally says that to them. Like, you better be nice. And if I find out that you're not, there's going to be a problem. Like, he's... You know, I like his style, man. Can it keep up? I don't know.
I just think he's so relatable to these kids, man.
Yeah, I'd love to play for him. Big time. I think he'd like me.
There's like stories of like some of his players whose dads are like incarcerated and stuff like that.
Hell yeah.
He like talks to the dads in prison and shit.
He loves his players. And all them coaches. I love my players. Deion has he's different, dude. He's a little different. And I like him. He's got more credibility than all those motherfuckers if you really think about it.
Oh, my God.
I mean, that dude he went for 3 for 4 in a fucking baseball game. And a week later, he runs
like
for fucking 80 yards and a fucking punt
Series.
return. He's in the World Series kicking ass. Then he, 2 days later, whatever, running back for a punt return. Best athlete probably ever, besides LeBron. Like he's
Bo Jackson.
Bo Jackson's up there. Neon Deion, LeBron James.
Michael Jordan.
Shit kickers, dude. They are.
I think Bo Jackson may be the greatest athlete ever, besides Florence Griffith Joyner and BG.
Brittany Griner.
BG. What were her final numbers for the year? Did you see?
Oh, hey, we got our WNBA playoff predictions.
Yeah.
I think the Aces are going to go far.
Do you?
Yeah.
Why?
What?
Like, why do you think that?
I don't know.
Like, what about their game you think is going to...
Well, they don't dunk. I'll tell you that right now.
Well, BG does.
She slams it
Every
down.
player probably has a player who dunks.
Oh, yeah.
If you had the option to be the president of the United States or just be very wealthy in, like, business or something else, would you want to take on that responsibility?
Hell no, man. Just be wealthy and live peacefully and not get bashed and not have people try to ruin your family.
Right.
And it's just it's a hardcore job, and politics as a whole is very hardcore. But on the other hand, man, a lot of people get into politics for the wrong reason. A lot of people get in politics for the right reason. But if you want to be successful,
explain the wrong versus right reason.
The only thing is, it's hard not to get ahead in politics without being a shady motherfucker.
Yeah.
Because if you ain't keeping up with the shady shit,
if you ain't fighting,
then you ain't fucking getting up with the big boys.
If you ain't fighting dirty,
you ain't fighting dirty. So you're pure at first, like, hi, I'm a virgin. Me. And all of a sudden you get into politics long enough, you're getting fucking gangbanged.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's doing oh God.
Well,
I mean, you have to like put it that way.
Whatever. You're getting fucked by everybody. Okay. And you got to keep up with it, or else you're not going to take that next step. You're not going to get rehired. Mm-hmm. You got to skim a little bit for these people. You got to skim a little bit for this big company. This, I got to stay. Now I got to be true with him because he's going to support me in this.
They make a lot of money.
They make a lot of money. Actually, they don't. They make $185,000 a year.
Right. You're right.
But they're worth $190 million. Nancy fucking.
Not all of them.
Nancy Pelosi and Mitch McConnell, the two deadbeat corpses. Mm-hmm. Mitch McConnell froze dead twice in a row. He's worth fucking $180 million. Oh, yeah, it's weird. How? How is that?
Donors.
You are a smart man. And you, Nancy Pelosi's 83. She's going to run for re-election. She's worth $250 million. She's going to run for it because she can't get away from the power. I have to have the power. How'd you get that much money? Oh, your husband?
Donors.
Who answered the door in his underwear?
Answer the question.
What?
Donors, probably, right?
Fucking stock market, dude. Inside trading. Are you kidding me?
In her case.
In all their cases.
Okay.
You don't think they know what's going on? Especially when there's a big war? Especially when there's going to be a pandemic what you do?
I will say this.
Are you kidding?
I know people who work at a very low level of politics. And I'm not talking about being the mayor of some small town. I'm talking about like working on campaigns. They make a shit ton of money, dude. They really do. people who work in the political realm.
I'm not talking about them.
They make a lot of money.
Yeah, the people that work for, they can get da-da-da. But, like, the people that are making decisions for us, important decisions, there's a lot of shadiness going on, homie.
Let's get into, they call them Noodles,
Yeah, I know. Because he ate pasta.
Well, he made pasta on the bus when everybody was eating, like, Salisbury steak and
with
shit.
a crock pot, which probably stunk the bus up, to be honest with you.
Depends what kind of noodles you're making.
It stinks the bus.
Mac and cheese.
After a while, you're going to get on that bus after a 7-hour road trip. He's making noodles, and the thing is plugged in, and noodles stink up, and it gets rotted out whenever you're sitting in a game, and you get back on the bus. Everybody's like, "Oh fuck, noodles stinks like shit."
Yeah, noodles. Pasta doesn't smell too bad.
You're right, but there could be veggies in there and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, I give him
a
lot of credit for that.
I think as a player.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
You get my drift?
But I think if you're cooking something else, it could be even worse, is what I'm getting at.
Listen, those buses stank like fuck anyway, man.
Oh,
no dub. Did he play in a dub?
He did.
Oh, gross. Everybody's just shitting one after another. They keep coming back, taking dumps, pissing everywhere. There's Italian dressing on the floor. You got dressing all over your shit. There's food. Everybody's farting. You can't open the window up because it's too cold. 20 hours. God. I'm glad I played Neo. Man.
Why?
I got grossed
out.
No, because I got grossed out by 20 swinging dicks. I was always like a private.
So why do you think that?
I like to shit by myself. I only fart. You ever see me fart in front of you? Never. I only fart in front of my wife.
Really?
That's the only. I swear to God, I don't fart in front of people. I don't like to take dumps in front of people. I don't. I'm a clean, pretty clean
I'm
guy
that
when
way
it comes
too.
to way. I'm like, I'll find that girl's bathroom in the middle of the underbelly.
Oh, hell yeah.
I know.
I told you, I only go to nice hotels when I'm traveling. I stop.
God, yeah.
I only go to nice hotels if we need to have a bathroom break. I'm not going to some gas station.
And I got a long
and I'll tell you this, man. If I'm on a bus with a bunch of dudes, I'm just not going in
Sometimes
that bathroom.
you have to.
I understand that. I understand it. If I'm throwing up or something like that.
No, you're eating, you're drinking protein. You drank pre-workout mix before you went and played a game. Your stomach's fucked up.
It can probably wait until you get, stop somewhere. Though.
No, see, this is where you're wrong. This is where your ignorance comes to play. Because you don't know what it's like really being on those long-ass journeys and eating protein and playing in the game, getting your body going. When you're done, all of a sudden you eat 5 slices of pizza, you have to go to the bathroom. And then another guy goes, and he's pissing out of his ass. Then you got one bad pizza. Everybody's affected. This guy's sneezing and sick and coughing in front of you.
I'm sneezing today.
He's farting the whole time. Andy. Like 30, I'm 30 years old. Then I got a room with another guy. Then I got a room with a guy, which is fine, but it's like, and then I was done.
Right when you get into the hotel, he goes and takes a shit.
He takes a dump and he talks to his wife, and I'm just like the whole time, like, I'm a grown. I just wanted my own room so bad. Like I just got sick of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean. So,
who was the best roommate you had?
Oh God, I've had some god dang good ones. God dang good ones. Jan Stasny, BJ Crombie, Eric Bolton, Brad Lukowicz. Fuck. Who? Me and Bolts and I, we got in trouble a couple times. Actually, Marty Brodeur fucked us over one time. I think he called down we're partying in our room. They put Bolts and I together. Lou did. He's like, we're going to keep these guys together. And then Marty calls down and orders some more food. And I don't know. I think he was kind of angry with the person down there. And she reported it. She reported that. Yes. The lady at the counter. We're trying to order food or something. It's really weird. Marty's never like that.
Wait, you're confusing everybody, including all my people.
Well, because I'm trying not to get him fucked
don't
over.
Understand what
I
you're
remember
saying
this,
here.
and I thought Marty was the one that called down.
Called down to who?
We're in our hotel room.
Called to complain that you guys were too loud in your room?
Jesus, Andy. We're all in Bolts and I's room, watching, partying, drinking some beer. And we were hungry. So Marty's like, I'm going to order some room service. And he called down, and I think he was kind of a dick, which he never is. And they got pissed, and they complained to the Devils. And Lou
about Marty,
about somebody in our room, in Bolts and I's room. But Marty's the one that called.
Oh,
and so they're like, this room was rude to us. And so Lou had Bolts and I go up to his room at 7:00 in the morning the next day, and stand there. And he comes out and he sits down. He's talking to us. And I couldn't even see him because the sun was going in my eye through his window in his room. And he yelled at Bolts, not me, Bolts for like 20 minutes. And he separated us. How dare you cause a scene? We're like, we didn't do anything. It was really odd.
Okay. I got a couple questions.
My head. And fucking
I
call
got
Bolts.
a couple of questions here. So
you can call Marty.
Why did he yell at Bolts and not you?
Because Bolts was the older guy.
Okay, we're done with that question. How did you put two and two together that it was Marty Brodeur that called? Because
he was the one that called down to get the food.
Was he in the room hanging out with you guys?
Yes.
Oh.
Are you following along more than Andy?
Did you understand the confusion?
Am I confusing with this? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't think you said that. So Marty was in the room hanging out with you guys.
Yes, we're all partying in the room.
He calls room service from that room.
Yeah.
So the number that traced back to the room.
Yeah, my bad.
Okay. You just didn't explain that very well. So did you tell Lou? Well, it was Marty who ordered the food. See, Marty being Marty, the Hall of Fame guy, he could have easily said to Lou, just FYI, I was the one that called.
Yeah, I think so.
And just eat it for
nothing happened with us.
The guys
but they did change our room. But yeah,
they separated you guys.
They split us up like we're fucking
like
children.
Your kids.
Yep, like we're children.
Okay, Eric and Cam, you guys are no longer together.
Dude, we gotta text him, and he'll vouch for this.
Marty.
No, Eric Bolton.
Well, I need Marty to vouch for this.
I know. I hope I got that right with him because that's a big name to drop if it's not true, but I think it is. So I'm going to not even have you delete this. So if I get shit on for this, but it's not that big of a deal. Nothing happened.
I mean, of all the players,
but he never is mean
that
to
you're
anybody.
Suggesting did that.
I know. That's
Marty.
That's why I'm bringing it up.
Why would he be rude to the girl at the front desk?
It wasn't a girl. It might not have been a girl. I don't even want to
throw that in there. Sorry. The person who answered the phone.
I don't know.
We don't know if it's a male or female. I certainly don't know.
It was a man, probably.
Probably a man, yeah.
At that time,
most likely
100%.
1,000% actually.
He's never mean to
No, 10,000%.
10 billion%.
What's higher than 10 billion%?
A trillion.
Okay.
He's never mean to
anybody. Which went missing, by the way?
$1 trillion. Yeah. Down in Rumsfeld made an announcement the day before. Just so you know.
You just lost $1 trillion.
Yep.
Hey guys, you see my $1 trillion?
Look it up.
It's under somebody's front yard right now.
No,
it probably is.
No, it's probably somewhere. Creating the line in Saudi Arabia. Do you know what that is? The line. You know what that is? It's a 200-mile, basically a huge subdivision mall / glass 200-foot area where they're going to have people living in apartments and restaurants and everything.
Yeah.
And you live there. And it's 200 miles long in the middle of the desert.
Wow.
In Saudi Arabia, called The Line. Look it up, Brody.
Wow. It's like the Mall of America. Kind of.
It's 200 miles long. That's ridiculous. Look it up. It's the most futuristic, crazy thing. They're building it right now.
Wow. A lot of money there.
$1 trillion project.
A lot of money inside.
$1 trillion project. That's weird.
You know LeBron.
Where'd they get that money? Well, they got oil from the 1930s.
You know, is that what it is?
Yeah. Saudi Arabia?
I mean,
they found oil in like the 30s.
Before anybody else?
No, we found oil in the late 1800s in Texas. But like in Saudi Arabia.
How do you find oil?
It seeps up from the ground sometimes, baby.
Wow.
And you just walk on it, you're like, whoa, there might be some down here.
There's oil here.
Yeah, dude. Imagine that back in the 1800s.
You only wish you could be so lucky.
Yeah, and sometimes when it seeps up from the ground, doesn't mean there's that much underneath.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you just got to figure out and dig, baby.
Damn.
You look up the line, Brody? Am I wrong? Mm-hmm. Saudi Arabia is also going to buy out all kinds of sporting
so why was LeBron James over there the other day?
Where, Saudi?
Yeah.
Probably making money.
Doing what?
I didn't see him over there.
Could they pay you enough just to head over there for a couple weeks?
Are you out of your fuck mind?
Like, these guys are all going over there.
We need to get a sponsor in Saudi. Fuck it.
Oh, I got people probably listening
fucking
from
tell
Saudi
them,
right now.
We'll be like, go to Saudi Arabia. Actually, I know a dude that went over there, and he's like, dude, it was awesome.
We'll promote your clothing line from
He said it was awesome. Now, if you're a woman over there, I'd say it's probably fucking hardcore.
There's probably a women's basketball league over there.
No, there's not.
No, there might. There might be.
Andy. They don't treat women that good over there.
Oh, did you see that video of that woman?
Jesus. What video?
No, there's a video of that woman.
We're going to be 2 hours.
Not
into
even
this
a woman. She was like a girl, looked like a teenage, maybe 20.
Yeah.
Muslim, I think.
Probably.
Being forced to sign the marriage papers to marry the older man.
Yeah,
and they're like,
that ain't just
they're
in Saudi.
restraining her. And the parents are like forcing her, and she's screaming, crying. She doesn't want to do it.
That's not just in Saudi, dude.
Is that still going on?
God, yeah, dude.
Is it?
Yes.
Arranged marriages?
Yeah, dude. A lot of weird things that you just don't even think about, man. I looked up just a documentary on Ghana.
Oh, yeah.
What they do in Ghana.
Well, there's lions. There's lions there and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's the least of their problems. Mm-hmm. They burn tires and electrical wires and stuff, and rubber and stuff, and they'll cook off the rubber and feed you. Oh,
they feed you?
Yeah, well, that's how they eat. It's all on the shore of the ocean. It's really
I saw that, how they dig like holes in the sand that they put the food in there.
Yeah, and the rubber.
And they'll eat mashed potatoes and stuff like that.
I don't know about that, but
no, they will.
It's all fish and stuff. It's just so nasty as slums ever, man. The slums of Ghana.
Hey, sometimes and you know what? Like and let me just tell people out there real quick before we get to Jamie McLennan, Noodles. You probably cook noodles on the beach too. If you wanted to.
You would die if you ate that. Like those
people
are like
let me tell you something. I watch these videos and I see these people, Cam, third world countries, eating in an environment that the majority of people here in North America couldn't even dream of having this type of situation, being in this type of situation. While you sit in your, you sleep in your 1,000 thread count sheets.
Oh, here he goes.
You live in your, thousands and thousands of square foot homes. You have a stove. You have running water every day. You got a car that takes you from point A to point B. These people have nothing. They're eating with their hands mashed potatoes off the beach with the sunset, okay?
That's most people in the world.
Okay.
Eat like that, or in poverty.
With their hands. In poverty. Yeah. And they are so happy.
Yeah, because they don't know anything different.
They are so happy.
Yeah. Not all of them.
No, they look happy.
Not the ones that have to work as slaves. Well, okay, Andy. You think they're happy? See, that's a guy from first world problems out there. Looks at these people and think they're happy. They're not all happy, dude. They're going through civil war and shit like that. So it's easy for you to be like, look, they're happy. No, they're not. A lot of them aren't. A lot of them are getting fucking tortured. Oh, they're happy. Look, kids. Look, they're happy. No, they're not. They're getting fucking tortured over there, dude. Going through civil war out the wazoo. You think it's only Russia and Ukraine going on? You should see what's going on in Africa, dude.
Oh, I know.
Fucking, you see what's going on in the southern border with cartel and shit.
I know.
Go to Venezuela right now.
I ain't going there.
Oh, my God.
I'll kidnap your ass.
Fuck yeah. I'm right.
What's your ransom?
Oh, as a white, somewhat, if I got kidnapped, it would be a big story.
Oh, hell yeah.
It'd be a huge story. If Kate and I got kidnapped somewhere, it would be the biggest story going.
Do you think maybe it would make the Today Show?
Oh, it'd be too white. Kate's a blonde, and then
that's probably how I'd find out watching the Today Show.
You probably would. These two got kidnapped.
I'm like, I know him.
It would be a big deal. It would be a big deal.
Man, I don't know if it would make the third hour of the Today Show.
It would be a huge deal. You know what I mean?
That's with
you if you and Lori and your kids went missing, it would be the biggest news story going in America.
All right, let's get to Noodles, because otherwise you're just going to talk all day, and we're just never going to get to the interview here. So
it takes you 2 hours to get into other things. We talked 9/11. Mm-hmm. We broke down a bunch of shit.
Lots of things.
We talked about the
and we're thinking of a lot of people that are going through today, remembering loved ones who they lost in 9/11.
No doubt, still going on. No doubt about
Adam
it.
Schefter, the NFL insider. His wife's husband was killed in 9/11 in the Twin Towers.
Wait, what? His wife's ex-husband?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, fuck. And there's a couple hockey players. Who's the old school hockey guy that was on the Boston flight that went into one of the towers?
It was, from the L.A.
Brody.
Kings. L.A. Kings, man.
Brody.
Legend from the L.A. Kings.
I think it was from the Red Wings.
There may have been there, too, but, look at...
It might have been, okay.
Yeah.
Ace
Bailey. We're thinking of everybody, man.
Yeah, man. Of course.
As always, the Cam Strick podcast is fueled by First Form, Cam. Listen, I try to tell people, they're like, where do I start? You download the app. That's the first thing you do. And a lot of our listeners, man, they've all done that. They're all ordering using our link, which is extremely critical. Firstform.com/Cam Strick. Yep. That's the link. So that's the first thing. Write that down. Firstform.com/Cam Strick. Then you get the app, and now you start looking to change your life and getting everything in the right direction. First things first, man. You got to get that Formula 1. That's the post-workout stuff. You can get the other stuff, obviously. There's other proteins, obviously, that are more of like a lifestyle protein. The level 1, which is more for like, meal replacements and stuff like that, Cam.
Damn good.
But take care of yourself and utilize these incredible products that are here for you. They're so easy, man. They're so on point with their shipping, by the way. I mean, you order it, all of a sudden the next day it's on your front porch. The most disciplined company you're ever going to find is First Form.
They will help you out. They will give you every type of guidance you need and or would ask for as far as how to work out, what to take before.
Life coach.
What to take, gut health, this, that, the other. Just snacking in general. Say you're at the office and you're hungry, you want something healthy. They got little protein sticks with 20 grams of protein. They're the real deal. That's why they have so many people following them. Check out all their stuff.
Great apparel, too.
Great. Oh,
Cam wears it every day.
I wear it everywhere.
He's a walking billboard.
I am a walking billboard for them. And I love it, and I respect the hell out of all of them. They're doing great work. And check it out on the app. Start with that. And, of course, support them. Because you support them, you get into it. A, you're helping yourself out. B, you're keeping this thing going. You know how it is, man. You got to keep this train going, baby.
Firstform.com/Cam Strick. Say what's up to First Form, Nick.
Nick, what up, homeboy? He had a little post the other day where he's doing hardcore workouts, man.
Oh, my God.
I know. Early in the morning, too.
A lot of hardcore stuff.
He's going early in the morning.
Yes.
He's getting it done.
Yeah, I'm looking to get in on some of those.
I'm surprised he hasn't invited you. It's so weird.
He's probably going to.
So like, God, I need to do a video. Who can I get? Let's see. We can get this guy and that guy. No, let's get Andy.
Firstform.com/Cam Strick. Order today, baby. All right, the Illinois Recovery Center, Cam.
Man, oh, man.
Been thinking about them an awful lot. Had some great text messages with Chrissy Pondoff over the weekend.
There, on the 11th week, the week of the 11th in October.
Oh, we're going there the week of the 11th? Perfect. Perfect. Listen, man, they are here for you. And I've had a lot of people actually reach out, Cam, and I'm sure they're reaching out to you as well, but they saying thank you for introducing us to the Illinois Recovery Center. And I love getting those messages, man.
Oh, I do too.
Give them a call today. Because if you are someone wants to learn more about the Illinois Recovery Center, you got to have them call this phone number. This is the best way to do it. 888-743-0971. 888-743-0971. You want to get together with Chrissy or Eric personally, we can arrange that. We can make that happen. The Illinois Recovery Center, man, the new premier inpatient substance abuse facility in Swansea, Illinois, just outside of St. Louis. Just outside of St. Louis, but they got a bed for you no matter where you're at. No matter where you are that you're listening, you can come there. And when it comes to the disease of addiction, getting help shouldn't be difficult, Cam. And the reality is it's not difficult when you've got the Illinois Recovery Center. Again, 888-743-0971. 888-743-0971. You can email them, info@IllinoisRecoveryCenter.com.
And if you want to get a hold of me, too, if you got any questions about any of that kind of stuff, man, I mean, we could have a three-way call with the guys.
A four-way if you want to include me on the phone.
Yeah, but Andy will slow the conversation down. It's all good. Andy wants to help people, too, so I don't want to chirp him. And Andy understands it. He's been working with me for a long time. He's heard it all. He's seen a lot of stuff. Just because he hasn't gone through it doesn't necessarily know what's going on. But it is nice to talk to somebody. There's still a limit with Andy. Let's be honest. When it comes to this, not hockey, I'm not talking. When it comes to this, still a limit of what he knows because he hasn't gone through it.
Reach out to me.
So reach out to me, and then we'll figure this whole thing out. It's all good, man.
Reach out to both of us.
There's help there, just so you know. There is. Just letting you know. I had to go through it, man. I've been through it. It wasn't easy, but there's good help for you. Right there at Illinois Recovery Center.
Illinois Recovery Center. Again, 888-743-0971. Tesson Roofing and TessonRoofing.com. Break that down.
I just saw Brett at the Eureka Golf Tournament.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
What do you have to say?
Oh, we're shooting the shit a little bit, man. I go, you playing? I was wearing the same
Same
shirt.
Thing you wore last time you saw him?
I saw him. He's like, damn, you wear that every time. I'm like, yeah. He's cool as hell, man.
Yeah.
Totally cool. He probably won that fucking tournament.
Probably
too.
did.
Oh,
Didn't he win the other tournament?
Yeah, with Timmy Peel.
This guy wins everything.
Well, when you own a big business like that and you're very successful, and you're cool, you get invited to a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's pimping out, fucking showing off his brand, baby.
We're going to Peelsy's house for a party coming up.
Yeah.
In a few weeks.
See, he'll have that trophy you won probably in his living room somewhere.
Probably. He'll greet you at the door with it.
Like, check this out. I won this time. I won that.
Hey, the Nano Shield, though, man, that's just what you want to apply on your roof. I know, like, it's starting to get to fall and whatever, but, again, you want to, like, obviously control the temperature and regulate the temperature of your roof. There's one way to do it. It's a Nano Shield. Preferred Nano Shield retailer in the country is right here on the Cam Strick podcast with Tesson Roofing. Check it out right now, tessonroofing.com. Ask about the Nano Shield. Ask about all the roofing options that they have with Brett Tesson, the best in the business.
Best
man.
in the business.
You can't get any better than him. Brett Tesson, Tesson Roofing. Check it out. If you want to reach or connect with Brett Tesson, my DMs are open for that as well. You can always reach out to me if we can get you in contact with the one and only Brett Tesson.
Yeah, baby.
TessonRoofing.com. Ask about the cool coat, the Nano Shield. He's also a preferred retailer for all the major insurance companies. So if anything goes down, man, you want to make sure you're dealing with somebody who has their relationship with all the top big dog insurance companies. Brett Tesson has that with Tesson Roofing. Sparx and Sparx.com, Cam. There's so many different directions you can go with Sparx. I was watching all these kids skate all weekend long, Cam, and I'm thinking, I see kids like, just wipe out in the corner, and I'm like, God, man, that's the one thing you just cannot overcome. When you don't have an edge on your skate, you're completely done
you could be
for
Gretter.
The weekend.
Speaking of Gretter, you'll be like Gretter with sandals on out there. You can't move, you're sliding. You could be the best player on the ice to the worst player on the ice just because of your edges. No, honestly.
Yeah, right.
You'll be the worst player on the ice if you don't have a good edge.
Hey, this is our best player.
You can't turn.
But he doesn't have an edge.
You don't have an edge.
So
you have no
he's now
power.
our
You have
worst
nothing.
player.
So what are you doing?
And mentally, you're completely
Bambi on the ice, dude. You're like you.
Yeah, it's not good.
It's not good. You
It's
don't
not
get out of the neutral zone.
No. Well, you want to avoid that. You get a Sparx.
You just like doing loops in the neutral zone.
Take your sharpening into your own hands, dude.
Yeah.
It's one of the greatest things that's ever happened to hockey. Is the Sparx.
Sometimes I don't know where you're going with shit, though. Sometimes Andy will be like, this is the best invention ever. And I'm like, no.
It is.
No, it's not. Not Sparx. Sparx is pretty damn good. When it comes to hockey, you fucking ain't right. It is. That's part of the, no doubt. But you said something the other day about something. I'm like, no.
Oh, you're trying to discredit that?
Well, kind of.
You know what you said?
I don't want to
know what you said?
No, because I don't want
to
to be associated with it. I don't want you to be like, this is the one that, it was something about a bubble popping up whenever you text somebody. That's how, like, You are so current, like you don't know anything that would happen in the past. Like, this is the best, because you're looking at your phone all fucking day. But in reality, that's not even the best invention in the last 15 minutes.
Well, the Sparx with an X is one of the greatest inventions in the history of hockey. To have your own skate sharpener at your house, dude, is incredible.
It's pretty good, dude. I can't argue
and it's
with
affordable.
It's one of the best
really
inventions.
Affordable when you use our promo code Cam and Strick. It'll save you more money than Black Friday and Cyber Monday.
I'll give you that.
It's like the best deal of the year.
Yep.
So check out Sparx, Sparx. Do it today and avoid having to have you know who.
Oh, that motherfucker. Fucking weirdo kid. He's got problems. He's got demons. Seth. Just letting all y'all know.
Yeah. There's only one way to avoid Seth. Honestly.
Bones in the basement.
Oh, my God.
Neighbor's underwear is missing. Weird things are going on in the neighborhood. Weird
His parents
things.
have no idea?
The young girl daughters are like, I keep seeing things in the window. Some kid is staring through my window.
Oh, my God.
I'm telling you.
You know what happened to my mom when I was a kid?
No, you told that story before.
We had a peeping Tom.
It wasn't that good.
We had a peeping Tom.
Oh, you might.
They owned
he could have had his way with you and your mom.
They owned a Dodge Charger, and they named their dog Charger.
If only that peeping Tom knew that, he could have walked right in that house. Nothing would have happened. Had your way with you and your mom. Oh God.
Oh my God.
Because what were you going to do?
Well, I was
How are you going to defend yourself?
Crutches at the time. I'd probably
that's
beat
another
him
thing.
with my crutch.
Oh, he would have. Oh, you would have been watching some weird things go down.
Yeah,
and then he held his way with you too.
Some football practice.
Afterwards.
Some football.
Afterwards, you
ever broken your ankle in a football game?
No.
Yeah. You don't know what it's like.
No, I don't.
Get a Sparx and don't be like Seth and use our promo code Cam and Strick.
Get away from him.
Yes, sir. I'll tell you one person to not get away from. Get yourself closer to Bellman, baby.
Oh, yeah. It's wintertime coming.
Bellman Automotive.
It's wintertime coming.
Do you think it's like really like crucial if you live in a Like, it's beautiful in the summer and spring and fall, but you get a lot of snow in the winter. Like, do you think it's like you got to have 4-wheel drive?
Oh, fuck. In St. Louis with the ice and stuff? God, yeah. Up yonder where the shit kickers are in Manitoba? Have to, man. Like, it's safe. Mm-hmm. You're traveling with your family and your precious loved ones.
Precious cargo.
Precious cargo, dude. Like, you're skidding around. Weirdos are everywhere. They can't fucking drive. They're driving fast in the snow. Like, you got to be safe and protected.
You've got to be safe.
You got to, even if it's, I know some people it's tough to afford, but, like, if you can, you should.
Well, say hi to Danny.
Danny, what's up?
And to Kenny.
Kenny. What up? Did Kenny have a birthday the other day?
I think he did.
Did Kenny have a birthday?
Give him a shout out.
What's up, Kenny? I saw that post.
And say what's up to Dale.
I'm creeping you out.
Say what's up to Dale.
Dale, what up, boy? Tell your brother Dale, too. Hey, I was creeping you out on Facebook. And I saw you.
Why are you creeping out everybody?
Because he's my friend.
Oh. That's how you play. You creep him out. Creep out.
Boy, he just popped up.
That's what Seth does.
I go, that goddamn Kenny Bellman. I go, son bitch.
Mm-hmm.
I go, that's Kenny gosh dang Bellman.
They got the Buick GMC on one side of the street. On the other side is Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. They've got something for everybody.
I got that Gladiator, man.
Located where?
In Troy, Missouri. But I got that badass, is it the Navajo Gladiator with the shit kickers?
I've been on the Navajo reservation, dude.
Oh, stop it with the goddamn reservation shit, dude. You force me to be at like a nothing. I'm not falling for it this time.
I used to get asked a lot when I had long hair if I was Native American.
No, you kind of did.
I did. Oh, all the time.
You do look Native American.
Like if I was like, especially when I was living in Arizona, they would ask specific, "Are you Navajo?"
Oh, you wouldn't have lasted.
Yes, I would have. I've been on the reservation. Seen a lot of reggae shows.
You didn't live on the reservation. No. Big difference.
Got a res dog.
You're on the opposite side where the concert was.
One of my roommates,
looking over the fence.
One of my roommates had a dog.
You're looking at the fence from the other side.
One of my roommates.
Wow, I'm living this. No, you're not.
One of my roommates had a dog named Rez.
Cool.
That they found on the reservation. They had stray dogs everywhere, dude.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, let's get the Noodles. Probably saw some stray dogs when he was on the bus traveling through the Western Hockey League, making noodles. He joins us now here on the Cam Strick Podcast. The Cam Strick Podcast is brought to you by First Form. Use our link, firstform.com/Cam-Strick.
They are the real deal.
Get your protein, get your bars, get your apparel, get everything you need from the one and only First Form.
Yeah.
Firstform.com/Cam-Strick. Now to the interview.
Hello.
Noodles.
Noodles.
How's it going?
What up,
What's
man?
up? Are you preparing for your radio show right now? Or are we messing
Reading
up
about the Leafs?
Oh yeah, hard in preparation. How much money is William Nylander going to get? Who should play with Austin Matthews? All the hard-hitting questions. No, I think the preparation is at almost close to a zero for our show. We just kind of turn the mics on and go. That's what makes it kind of unique with us is we're better when we're kind of cold. We actually don't see each other before the show for that purpose because like the other day, for example, it was my first day back. It was Tuesday and we all got there at like 3:30 and we were in studio and it's rare that we're all in studio. And we started talking and I just got up and walked out. I'm like, let's save it for the show. Cause like you start talking about something and then it's not fresh. So we're better. Obviously, we'll know the top topics going in, but it's better when you don't talk before,
Yeah, no, that's how we are, man. We're the same way.
And hey, anybody like some of those guys listen, I'm sure. Has anybody like come out and got pissed at you or corrected any of you guys? Like the Leaf players?
Yeah, it's more about like players don't get pissed. It's, if like my style is more about like honesty with respect. So, we all know if you have a bad game, like everyone can see it. So as long as you point it out with respect, like nothing personal, just like, hey, this guy could have been better in that situation. I've talked about the Leafs lots. Like, I like Jordan Binnington, but he hasn't been, the Jordan Binnington with the expectations. So you got to be honest about it and say, I expect more from him. I don't think I've ever come across him where, I haven't spoken to him personally where, he would pull me aside and say, dude, like, enough with, talking about me or something like that. I haven't had that scenario, but I think for the most part, like I do color. So I'm in the rooms a lot like if somebody had a problem with me, I think I would hope that they would pull me aside, or their PR guy would pull me aside and say, that was a little sharp of what you said or whatever. I'm a big believer in, you deal with things head on. And if I misspeak, I would be the first one to apologize to that player, because I know, and you guys know, I mean, I wasn't a Hall of Fame player. I knew exactly what I was as a player, but I think, if you're honest with your assessment, I think that's the biggest thing. It's just you go and you say your piece. And I think the players, they're their harshest critics anyway. So it's cool.
Cam's a St. Louis Amateur Hockey Hall of Famer.
Yeah, I'm a Hall of Famer, by the way.
Just so you
know, Noodles. What's up, baby? What's up, baby?
God, I was always terrified of you on the ice, even though you weren't going to beat me up. So it was good.
Well, I wasn't going to shoot the puck at you either, because I never had it.
God. Hey, so what do you enjoy doing the most, though? You like doing like a daily radio show, or do you really love like being in the middle of the action, man, doing color commentary, if you're between the benches, being in the room, like you said, like there's got to be a balance there, because I know you enjoy working who you work with on the radio, but what do you like doing the most?
You know what? I like doing, it's weird because I'm so passionate about color, because it's the closest thing for me to being a part of like the team environment, being part of live hockey again without playing. So you're in between the benches, you're calling the game, and there's no like manufactured chats. There's no like, hey, who's, what's going on here? It's like you're talking about what happened there, like that play in the neutral zone, or that goal, or, leading up to it. So it's live. I love that. Like color is something I cherish. And the show is, it's become part of me. It's like my body. So it's like, I would be empty without it. So I don't know which one I love more, because like I say, Hayes and O are, two of my best buddies. And sometimes it just doesn't feel like we're working. We're just talking hockey, or talking stupid things. So the other day we talked, I think 20 minutes about, that Delta flight to Barcelona that had somebody who had the bad boiler.
Oh, they shit themselves.
Yeah.
It was a biohazard, man.
It was a biohazard.
Yeah, so we talk about everything. So I think, when you look at the show, it's just become part of my fabric. So I would be empty without it, but color I absolutely love as well. So it's really unique. I'm very lucky to have a balance of both of them.
Yeah, man. As long as you're enjoying it, you got to be able to have fun. Then it's not even a job. Like, how'd you get into broadcasting? Like, who first approached you about becoming a broadcaster?
So when I retired, I went right into scouting and management with the Flames, and then became the goalie coach for a couple of years. And the day that they the day they fired me as the goalie coach, they offered me to go back into player development in the organization. And I don't know if it was like a press release or whatever, but within like an hour, I got an email from, we call him the evil quizmaster of TSN. And he asked if I'd be interested in doing some panel work that weekend they had the national package. And he said, would you like to fly to Toronto and do the panels a couple nights? And I said, yeah, I'll try it. I had to get permission from the Flames, because I was technically still under contract till the July 1st or whatever, and I got let go in April. So they gave me permission. I flew out to Toronto. I wasn't very good, but I think they saw that I could talk, and they saw that I, had some knowledge and all of that type of stuff, and could be a work in progress. So I was there for 3 nights, flew back. They invited me back again for the following weekend. And then they were opening TSN radio right at the time. So I said to them, listen, I would like to do this, but I certainly need a lot of work and a lot of reps. I'd be willing to move to Toronto. I was single at the time. So I said, I don't have a lot of ties to Calgary or Edmonton, so I'll fly out there and work. So throughout that summer, they put me on a show called That's Hockey. They had me at the finals with Gino Reda. I think that was the Vancouver Boston finals. So the riot and all that. I was there, and right through the summer, I worked on radio and TV, and then that's kind of it's 13 years ago. This is year 13 for TSN coming up, and I love it. They've been good to me. and I work a lot. I don't know. If you look at my schedule, it seems like from September 5th to July 2nd, I'm pretty much on. So it's a grind, but I love it. So that's kind of how it unfolded for me joining TSN.
Hey, when you're between the benches, though, and things are going down, and they're going down quick, like, what's the hardest? Like, you ever get jammed up with, like, the rules? Like, keeping track of all the rules. There's so many different scenarios that go down. Have you ever like, man, I don't fucking know.
like when the puck hits Tim Peel in the nuts and goes in.
Something like that.
And right off the bat, you're like, oh, that can't count. It can't go off his balls and then go in and count. Yeah. If it hits the referee, it doesn't count.
Well, it couldn't happen to a nicer guy. Put it that way. I love Timmy. Timmy's a friend. So, you know what? You're right. There are times where to be honest, the time the most I struggle with on air when it comes to just leaving your opinion out there right now is the subjective rules. So goaltender interference. So you're watching it live, okay? And then, you're responsible for a broadcast. So say there's, 300,000 people watching the broadcast that night, and you've got a view of it. And I go, I think that's a goal. And then your director or producer comes up with an overhead or a different angle. You've got to make your opinion or form it kind of on the fly. So you're sitting there going, geez, that looks like a goal. Could be, coulda, woulda, shoulda. And you don't want to waffle because, you want to give your opinion and give it strong. And that's the thing I struggle with most, because as I think that's the most subjective thing in hockey right now is the goaltender interference call is, the three of us could sit in a room, watch a goal, and two of you go, that's a goal. And I say, that's not a goal. Look at this, look at that. So it's, it's still attached to an opinion. That's where I struggle with the rule books, and the offside gets a little bit murky here and there, but for the most part, like you know the rules, but there are, like you say, the one off the pills with Timmy Peel. I don't know. They didn't call that? Did they call that a goal or
That's
not?
I can't remember. That was on
no goal. That was on Luongo, right? That was on Luongo.
It was. Yeah. I know. So hey,
Timmy counted it for himself.
He counted it. He's got the game puck.
Yeah.
It's hanging in his wall in his house.
Hanging next to his jock.
First goal. I love it. Hey, man, you played with so many great goalies, though, in your career. And like Grant Fuhr and Ron Hextall and Luongo, who we just mentioned, Kiprusoff. Like, who were you closest with? I don't want to ask you who the best partner was, although you can go ahead and share that with us. But like, who were you closest with?
Well, I was closest with like all of them on different fronts. So I'm still, I would say, close with Luongo. Although, now that everyone's kind of grown up and kids and stuff, define close, because we rarely talk and rarely see each other. But there's that mutual, like, hey, we haven't talked in 2 months or 3 months, but you can pick up right where you left off. It's funny, Mika Kiprusoff, if people don't know, he's a recluse. Like he doesn't talk to anybody. He doesn't respond to emails or texts or anything. He's just a very, very private person. But I'm one of the only people that he still keeps in touch with in the hockey world. So when, quick story, when Calgary was going to retire his number, I get a call from, the Flames management, and they're saying, we need to get a hold of Kipper. And, we know that he flushes people. So I text him and I'm like, dude, I'm calling you tomorrow. I need you to answer the phone. And of course, flush. I call him the next day, doesn't answer. And then I write him another text. I'm like, I'm calling you tomorrow. Like, this is after that. You need to answer. And so he answers. He's like, what's up, Noodla? And I'm like, hey, like the Flames need to get a hold of you. You can't flush the call. It sounds like it's something really cool and special, because they wanted to tell him in, kind of not in person, but tell them themselves. They didn't want me to break the news to it.
Right.
So I said, answer the phone. And he starts laughing and goes, maybe I'll flush them for a month. And I go, don't flush them for a month. I go, so right away, the PR guy called, and Kipper was over the moon. And obviously they're retiring his number in March 2nd, and it's really cool, and I'll be there. But I would say I'm close with Kip. I have a unique relationship with all of my goaltender partners. Tommy Soderstrom, somebody hired me on like Cameo to reach out to Tommy Soderstrom and wish him a happy birthday. And he wrote me on Twitter, which I thought was cool. I played with Tommy with the Islanders, but you lose track of some of the guys because you don't play with them anymore. But, those are the two that I stay in touch with a little bit more frequently. Ran into Ron Hextall in the hallway last year in Pittsburgh. It was nice to catch up with Hexy. Like, I've always, viewed him as a mentor. He was one of the greatest teammates to ever play with. Like, wow. I was 22. He was probably 30, 31. And he taught me how to be a pro. Like, this guy, the way he prepared, how intense he was, how hard he worked in practice, like everything about the details of his game. Like, I remember trying to emulate myself of some of his habits, the way he prepared and the way he, studied other teams, everything. And it really helped me become a better pro. So I always have that real special place in my heart for him. But I was lucky to have some great, and Fierzy, I don't know, man, we stay in touch. I'm still, the reason why I didn't put him first is I'm still in awe that I'm friends with Grant Fuhr, which is weird because he's like a living legend. Mm-hmm. Like, there's an aura around Grant where it's okay, I grew up watching this guy. I shouldn't be in the same room as him, and I'm hanging out with him, having a rum on the plane type of thing. And it's just it's surreal with me and Grant. But I've had a lot of opportunities to stay in touch. We have a lot of kind of friends, that 6 degrees of separation. So every time I see him or receive a text from him and stuff, it's still a little bit surreal for me because I'm overwhelmed that he's my friend. Where I look at it, I don't know, Cam, how you feel. You run into guys in the league that either you looked up to or you really respected, and they hey, they know your name and they're having a conversation. You're like, this is weird.
I'm a recluse like Kipper, dude. I'm a recluse now like Kipper. No, you're right. We see all these cats in St. Louis all the time, and we got a big, the alumni here. We got our own rink and, locker room and stuff like that. Everybody's really connected because it's a small town. But you mentioned Grant Fuhr. You ever know, he gets chirped so bad on Twitter. You ever notice that?
I do. I do.
What are they chirping him
I don't know. He's defending himself all the damn time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You know what it is? So Grant responds to the Twitter trolls, which is insanity. Oh. And then it's all these jackasses who are numbers guys. So they he'll tweet something random, which I don't know. I think he's kind of stepped into the political ring a little bit, but it's more, he'll tweet something and then somebody will be like, you were the most overrated goalie because you had an .875 save percentage. And he'll write back, well, I got 6 Stanley Cups, you dope, or, something like that. Last I checked, I was a Hockey Hall of Famer. And these idiots with 70 followers will be arguing with him. And I just that's the thing. Twitter I use Twitter all the time for information, and the people I follow, I respect what they've got to say. But it's why are you engaging with somebody who literally has, 12 followers and they are in their parents' basement with pizza stains on their t-shirt? Get over it.
You're not going to win that,
No. And you have no idea who it is. So just block those people and move on with life. Life is too short right now to be worrying about what some jackass has to say, their opinion. That's the one thing Twitter or X has given everybody an opinion. Before they could have it, you just didn't need to hear it. Now, all of a sudden, they need to weigh in on everything. I don't know how many times it comes across your feed and somebody's like, this is my opinion on this topic. And I'm like, nobody cares. Nobody cares what you think about this topic. It's weird. It's created this self-worth thing where people think they're more important than they are. For Grant, if I was Grant, I would just block those people and move on because he's a Hockey Hall of Famer and one of the greatest goaltenders who ever played the game. That's it.
Sometimes you can't help yourself.
Not worthy of a response. But it's funny, you talk about your relationship with all those goalies because, we had Marty Turco on. We've had Belfour on too, but I don't think Belfour was great to Turco. They get along great now. Yeah. But, him coming in as the younger guy, as a backup goaltender, you made a career as a backup goaltender. Do you ever just want the starter to have a shitty game and play bad or get hurt so you can get in there and play. I mean, like, come on. I mean, you can't all be like roses and gumdrops. Come on now.
Okay, I'll tell you a funny story that Roberto Luongo will never let me live down. And I think he told it at his Hall of Fame speech. So Louis played like 75 games that year. So I was like on a Florida vacation. I was like just, just chilling, long hair, had a Cadillac, living by the beach, enjoying my life. And Louis gets a shot on the hand, I think in like the second or maybe early of the third period. And he comes to the bench and he's like, I think I broke my hand. And, as a backup, you should probably be like, okay, like I'll go in, I'll whatever is needed. I go, you're fine, buddy. You can grind this out. And to this day, he still reminds me, he's like, dude, I played 75 games that year. You'd think you'd want me to come out, but instead I was like, you're fine. You can grind this through. Like, I didn't want to go in. Like, I'm not going in with, 18 minutes left in the game and losing it for this team. So it was kind of funny, but I look at it a different way. The two goaltenders that are in the room, and especially if there's defined roles. So if I had a starter like Kipper or Louis or Roman Turek or Grant Fuhr or you name it, Ron Hextall, my job was to make sure they had the best game possible. And then when I got a start, those guys would support me, but I wasn't just killing time. Like, my job was to try and go in and get wins and give them the night off and whatever it took. So I realized early on, I think I was about 26, 27 years old, where it's like, okay, if I'm not going to be a starter, I better be a really good backup, because that you can exit out of the league very quickly if you don't bring something to the table. So I didn't want to be disruptive. I was the other way. I'm like, I got to prop these guys up and make sure they're great, and they want me there riding shotgun with them. So, I was one of the greatest things that I kind of ever went through, and it wasn't even kind of attached to me, was when Roberto Luongo had kind of a contract squabble in Florida, and then Keenan ended up trading him to Vancouver. One of the things Louis had asked is that, I ride shotgun with him because he liked our tandem. I think we had a good friendship. I helped him a lot, I think, just with the preparation of the game, and he was such an elite goaltender. And I thought that was cool. It was like, okay, he respected where I was in the position in the pecking order, and that maybe I helped him in even a small percentage in his success. So, I think, not hoping anybody to get hurt or anything like that. Yeah, there were nights where you'd like to play, and that's the competitive nature. But understanding what you were, I think that there's too many guys in this league that overvalue what they are, and they think they're better than they are. And it's counterproductive to their career, because if I'm a forward and I think I'm a first line winger and I'm a third line winger and I'm disgruntled when I'm on the third line, eventually that's going to shine through, and the manager's going to move you out, or the coach's not going to like you. So you just, to me, I think you've got to be realistic of what you are, but then you can still push yourself up the lineup.
Yeah, well, Noodles, he wanted you coming with him because you won't even go into the damn game, and he plays 75 games a year.
Hey, let me ask you, backing up these guys, and they're playing a ton of games, they're tired as hell, and finally you get to start, they get the night off, and you go out there and get fucking lit up, and then he has to come back in and kind of look at you like, gee, thanks for the time off. Has that ever happened?
It has, but rare, because, nowadays that coach, unless you get run over by a car on the ice, like, you're staying in for 8 or 9.
Yeah.
So it's your job to not get pulled or give up 8 or 9. And a lot of times coaches will just let you chew on it, I understand that. But there was one time, and this is a Grant Fuhr story. It's funny. So I was playing for St. Louis. I was Furzy, and we're in Philadelphia, and I had the flu, and it was my start, and you're puking, diarrhea, you name it. I was on that Delta flight, put it that way, flying overseas, Barcelona. And I start that night, and I was always a nervous guy anyways, and had hydration issues. So about halfway through the game, I start to cramp up. And my legs are like seizing, like not just one, both of them. And there was a play, I'll never forget this. A play, the puck, there was a scramble around the net, and the puck went back to the point, and I couldn't get up. My legs had completely seized. So I laid across the goal line, and Prongs was yelling at me. He's like, get up. And he's swearing like, get the F up. And I'm like, I can't move. I literally was laying on the ice, and the shot came from the point and like hit me in the stomach, and there was a scramble, and Prongs was like cross-checking people and knocking them onto me and that. And I completely seized up. Like my body, like from my neck down was like seized up to the point where they like shoveled me off the ice. But when I was laying there, Fierzy skated on the ice, and he was eating a jawbreaker, and I could see him like chewing. He's like, "You okay, chum?" And I'm like, I can't feel my legs. Like I was like just seizing up. And he's like, it's all right, I'll come in. I'm like, no, I'm fine. And Tom's like, get off the ice. Like, and he's yelling at Ray Borelli, the trainer. And they literally had to like shovel me off the ice. And I was like, I think they put me on an IV in like the trainer's room in Philly. And, Fierzy had to come in. That was the only time where I was like so embarrassed, because I probably should have told the trainer, Ray Borelli, before the game, like, I was in one here, but it was a rare start. So you're like, I'm not going to jam Fierzy up. He needs that night off. And I ended up jamming him up anyway. So it was kind of funny.
Oh, man.
That's an awesome story.
I've had that happen, though, dude.
Yeah.
Your leg seize up. It just controls your body.
Nowadays, at my age, I cramp up in the middle of the night and have to jump up and start running around the bedroom. But it's like, that's just the effects of being a former player. But yeah, those cramps during being a player was a mess for me. I really struggled with my hydration.
Hey, listen, we love Chief, man. Craig Berube, your former teammate, man. But he tells the story about how he got in a fight, and he's fighting somebody, and he's fighting one of your close buddies. You're his teammate, yet you're rooting for the other player on the other team. And he skates off the ice and I guess kind of gave it to you, like said, like, you're next or whatever. Tell us the story.
Oh, yeah.
What went down there?
Okay. So the guy was Jason Strudwick, who's a dear friend of mine. Yeah. So Struddy's playing for, I believe, Chicago at the time. Okay, so I'm not sure if people know this, but Struddy's first cousins is Scott Niedermayer and Rob Niedermayer. So we're playing in Calgary, and I'm playing for the Flames. Rob Niedermayer is my teammate. And yes, Craig Berube's our tough guy, and also a guy that we would go and have dinner and beers with, because he's one of the greatest humans on this earth. Like, I love him to death.
Yeah.
So, but he would, like, that night, I remember him saying before the game, like, oh, your boy Struddy, like, might have to take him on tonight. And he was kind of teasing us. And they square off. I swear to God, I'm backing up that night, and Needs is sitting right beside me. So it's Rob Niedermayer and myself sitting right at the edge of the bench, and Craig Berube and Jason Strudwick square off right in front of us. And Needs leans over and goes, "Go Struddy." And we start laughing, and they're going toe to toe, great fight. And like, I see him looking at us from the penalty box. Like, Berube's like staring at us. And after the first, I think this is early in the game, after the first period, he comes in and he goes, "I heard you pigeons cheering for Struddy." And we were dying laughing, and he loved it. Like, that's him in a nutshell. Is just, he loved the camaraderie. He knew those, tough guys had to take on each other. And we, of course, Needs was really needling him, going, "Oh, our buddy Struddy beat you up," and all of that. So it was kind of funny, but yeah, that's a honest to God true story. And that fight happened right in front of me.
I'd be pissed too. I'm like, what the fuck?
Hey,
I get him.
Hey, listen, the Johan Franzén incident, man, and everybody's probably seen it. Some may not have, and they'll go check it out right now. The reaction of the broadcasters, I think it was Pierre Maguire and Eddie Olczyk, they were like stunned. They're like,
my God.
It's like not staged when the broadcaster, like, the first words to come out of his mouth are, "Oh my God!" Like, because you literally two-handed him in the stomach. I don't know if it was as bad as it, looked or whatever, but nonetheless, like, you had just come into the game. You guys were losing, so you're coming in for the last couple of minutes. So were you pissed that you had to come in? Like, what set you off there?
Okay, so, two things. You're right. The reaction of Eddie O and Pierre Maguire, because I swear to God, we were in the playoffs against Detroit, and Pierre had, like, gone out of his way to say, like, what a great backup Noodles is. He's a good team guy, like, really likable, like, all of these funny things. And then I go and do that. And he's like, oh my God, it's so out of character for him. And they both were. So it was like that. I remember like going back, and obviously you can see the YouTube clips now, but I'll give you some context. And it's not what people think. And I swear to God, like I own this. And, you know, to this point, I've actually had conversations with Johan Franzén since. It took me a while to like actually get, you know, time with him and sit down with him and stuff. But so in that playoff, you know, Holmstrom would accidentally on purpose bumping the goaltenders, Franzen accidentally on purpose. And they were falling on Kipper and really like, you know, getting in his grill all playoff long, to the point where like Kipper had said some stuff on the plane. He's like, God, those guys are just, you know, they're in my grill. They're accidentally little chop here, little slash there. And, you know, I was watching it. So that night particular, that was game 5, I believe. It was in a night. It was a Saturday afternoon game in Detroit, NBC game, national broadcast. So, you know, I'm sure the league has got a lot of eyes on it. And I'm a non-factor in that playoff series. So I get put in with 5 minutes left. I think the score is like 5-1 or something. Like it's an out-of-hand game. But the game was really greasy. Like it, you know, Ginla was trying to find Matthew Schneider. Brett Lepta, I think, had taken out like Damon Lankow's knee or hit him low with a low hit. So it, like, they were already, our bench was pretty wired up, and they were trying to draw Detroit into like a physical altercation where we wanted to take it to the ground, I believe, because I think they wanted, you know, some retribution. And Iggy was wound up. And I just remember going in thinking to myself, I'm going to try and start a line brawl. And this monster in front of the net, he's probably going to, you know, beat me up, this Johan Franzen, because he's like 240. He was a big man. And if you see the sequence, I start chopping his leg early on. And so I'm getting a penalty. I can hear the ref going, Noodles, you know, leave him alone or whatever. And I see he's got his arm up. And then the puck goes around the net, and I let it go. The whistle goes, and he comes towards me. And I would swear on my kids, I thought he was going to sucker me because I deserved it. I was already chopping at him. So I like choke up and I slash him, and I hit him. It looks like the stomach, but it's kind of in the high right thigh, like right pant. And he just drops. And I'm like, oh my God, like, this is awful. Like I was waiting, like I chop him. I was expecting him to punch me in the face at the same time as the chop. So I was like waiting for this like altercation, and I was hoping that everyone would pile in, and he just dropped, and everyone's like, oh, that wasn't good. and like, I swear to God, my heart rate probably wasn't above 80. I was 18 seconds into the game. So I'm just standing there, and optically it's awful. I feel awful. They skate me right off. I'm like, this is not good. Get into the dressing room in Detroit. I'm kind of sitting there. I'm like, I'm rattled, right? Because I'm like, this is not the way I envisioned this to go down. Like I was expecting me to be the guy laying on the ice because he's going to, you know, knock my head off with a punch, and everyone's going to pile on, and we're going to kind of, you know, take it to the ground and get rough. And it just went south. So I sent a note down right away to kind of, because I know Chris Osgood, like I know some of the guys in the team, Ken Holland a little bit, like I was embarrassed, but I sent a note down saying like, hey, sorry, but like, I don't know if he ever received it. And then like these are, you know, it's long kind of before the days of like, just shoot a text or a FaceTime, like that wasn't around. Right. Mm-hmm. So after the game, we flew back to Calgary because that was a Saturday afternoon. We played Sunday night at home, game 6. So I remember Daryl saying to me when he got off the plane, he's like, you're probably going to have a hearing. He goes, it'll be tomorrow morning, so be at the rink at whatever, 8 a.m. So when I got suspended for 5 games and there was fines and everything, Jimmy Playfair, I felt bad for Jimmy Playfair because Jimmy got fined and people are like acting like he sent me in there to do that. Like he had no idea. I was just trying to, you know, stir it up a little bit. So it was a really like just a bad decision by me, stupid. And, you know, I got suspended. I never played an NHL game after that. And the ironic part, guys, is we lost game 6 at home in overtime. And guess who scored the overtime winner? Johan Franzen.
Of course he did.
That's what I was going to ask.
He wasn't even hurt.
That's what I was going to ask. I mean, you're still suspended? Technically, you're still suspended today, Noodles. Just so you know, like, because you have not fulfilled your 5-game suspension. But you never played again after that. That was your last NHL game, right?
It was, and it was weird because So I served the next night. So I owed the league 4 games, and then I was unrestricted free agent. And my agent, Pat Morris, said, that summer I was on the fence of like either retiring or going to play another year. There were some teams that were interested, but we had to factor in the 4-game suspension. Mm-hmm. So, and we were looking at like league minimum, whatever it was at that time, is 500 or something like that. But it's like, okay, you're going to get 4 games. They're going to have a young kid come up. Well, in the teams that were looking at me already had somebody kind of in place. So it was like, all right, that's not going to be a fit. So I was going to make this decision. I was going to retire. And then Pat calls me and said, I got you an offer in the KHL. So I went to the K, lasted there for 2 months because that was, a different animal, and then ended up in Japan for 5 months or 4 months or 5 months with my buddy. And then I retired after that. But it was a really, I knew that was my last NHL game, and I'm still kind of embarrassed of it. And I should be, but it's not the way I envisioned. And then years later, I ran into Johan, and I specifically sought him out and had a conversation with him. And he, the only thing he said to me, he's like, why did you do it? And I said, well, I was just trying to stir it up. And, I was just being honest like I am now. And I said, well, did I hurt you? And he goes, no, you surprised me more. Like, he goes, I didn't see that coming. Like, he goes, I just kind of, and I'm like, yeah, well, I didn't see that coming from me either. I just kind of, it was a bad reaction. So I said, hey, I apologize, all of that. And he was pretty cool about it. We had a couple, nice conversations, and I've seen him since, and I don't think he holds any grudges, but it was just a weird transaction, put it that way.
Yeah, he'll be okay.
He's fine.
Know what he's doing. Yeah, right. Fall down.
And don't feel too bad. Don't be embarrassed about it.
We've all
Noodles.
done that, Noodles. Okay, trust me. I didn't say sorry to a couple people. But what's the fines though? So Playfair gets 25, and then
the end of the game, maybe.
End of the game, and then the team gets $100,000 fine,
150 or 100. There were some fines, and of course I could say goodbye to my playoff share too. So it's like, that transaction cost a lot of people some money. And to this day, Jim Playfair would joke. He said, you just took a Sea-Doo out of my kids. He was going to buy a Sea-Doo for his kids that summer on the lake or whatever. And he's like, you just robbed me of that. Like, he would joke, but Jimmy's a close friend of mine. But it was a weird, like I say, I don't know what the hell I was doing. I still, to this day, I don't know. But it cost some money and certainly some embarrassment.
So what was the KHL like? And then actually, what was that Asian league like too? Yeah. And Japan, which is pretty cool.
Japan was awesome. I don't know if you saw this movie years ago called Mr. Baseball with Tom Selleck. He went and played pro baseball in a Japanese league, and it was basically he went and worked for a company and played for their company baseball team. Well, it was the same type of thing. I went over, myself and Tyson Nash went over and we played for Nippon Paper Cranes. Now, Nippon Paper is one of the biggest paper mills in the world. So the guys work at the factory in the summer and they play for the hockey team in the winter, the guys who are on the team. And it was awesome. I love the culture. I love the cities. There was 4 teams in Japan, 2 in Korea, and 1 in China. Oh. So I got, you're getting paid to kind of see the world and live in these different places that you never dream of in your life. So I really loved it. I made some friends there.
How much coin, by the way? Sorry. How much coin? Like enough? Like, is it enough?
It was the equivalent of playing in Europe. So you're making a couple hundred. It's tax free. They pay the taxes. You get an apartment. Like, it's basically the same type of setup as playing, in Switzerland or Austria or some of these places. Okay. So you get the car. You get an apartment, you negotiated some flights, for a significant other or to go home in the breaks and stuff. So it was all kind of like just basically signing a deal in Europe. And the KHL, we don't have enough time for me to tell story after story, but it was just that was the Wild West, like the Wild West back then. Like, it was, I don't know if it's changed since then. And obviously with the political climate, it's a lot different, but it was an eye opener. Yeah. I was there 2 months and I could tell you a story every day of something like, that's weird. That's not normal. That's, it was just like, holy smokes, eye opening, but a lot of good people there. And the sad part about it is, I would make light of it and have some fun with it. And then, my dear friend Pavel Demitra and Brad McCrimmon, and
today's
I'll never forget.
Yeah, today's
the day.
Yep, 9/7, 2011.
Man,
yep.
I know. I remember getting that phone call, and I just started at TSN, and like I say, it was just. And the weird part is, I had gotten through a friend a message from Brad McCrimmon. Our friend had talked to Brad the night before, and we call him Beast, and he calls me and he goes, "Hey, Beast says hey and everything," because I had talked to him before he went over to the K because he had a lot of questions, and he said, "Hey, Beast says everything you've told him about the K is 100% true," and one of the things was that the flying was a really shady, and you wake up to that phone call saying I knew 6 guys on that flight that I had either played with or was friends with. And, it's just sad. It's just an awful tragedy. And, Pavel was a dear friend. Oh yeah, dude. And, and Brad McCrimmon, it's a terrible, terrible tragedy. But yeah, you guys reminded me, you're right. It's the anniversary of it. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So listen, and it's hard to go from that to another story, but I got to talk to Pronger this morning. He's like, ask him how he let Rob Blake break my foot. Oh. So I'm asking
and he does his homework.
Oh, you know what? Okay, so there's no getting around this. You know how I've just, in the last half an hour owned a lot of stories and said, that was on me. Well, this one's on me too. And this was one of the more horrifying moments of my career. I get a chance to play. Obviously, I think it was Fierzy or Roman, one of the two. I can't remember whatever year it was that Chris won the Hart. I think it was that in 98,
99,
I think it
2000.
Was. Okay, so
my first year covering the team,
Damn right.
Noodles.
Damn right.
Okay, so Chris is the most dominant player in the league. He's just just chewing everybody up. I get an opportunity to play. And I'll never forget this. It's in the first period, and the puck goes back to the point, and we're on the penalty kill. So the shot comes towards the net, and it's kind of a muffin. It got deflected, and it's coming in slow to me. But the puck is spinning. I could see it spinning. And Prongs is kind of on the back door, and he's like, "Noodles, here. Kick it to me, and he'll clear it down the ice. We're good." Well, I go to kick it to him, just direct it to him, and it takes off like a rocket off of my stick and goes right out into the high slot. And Rob Blake is skating into a one-timer. So Prongs turns from a reaction standpoint and walks into the lane, and Blake wires one right off of his ankle, right off the top of his foot. And Prongs screams, looks back, swears at me, and goes right off the ice, right down the tunnel. And I'm like, oh my God, I just broke his ankle, broke his foot, whatever it was. I don't know how many games I'd played that year. I probably had played 10 games, and I'm going to be the cause of the Hart Trophy winner to be injured and miss a bunch of time. So I can't even focus the rest of the period. After the first period, I'm sitting in my stall, and you can see into Ray Borelli's training room, and Prongs is sitting on one of the training tables, and he's propped up, and he's got ice on his foot, and he's looking at me, and he's giving me the finger. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm in big trouble. He's definitely broken his foot or something. I don't know if it was heavily bruised or a hairline fracture, but he had to wear a boot. And we were going to LA 3 days later. And both of us were we wanted to go party and have a good time. And this guy's got to walk around in a boot. He was so mad at me. Oh, yeah. The language that he used, it was not good. But either way, he still wound up. We still had a good time in LA, and he still won the Hart Trophy. But it was completely my fault. Although I would say it was maybe a deflection or the puck spinning. But I've never seen a puck take off of a stick where I just went to direct it, and it looked like I kicked it right into the slot. And Prongs had to, his reaction took over, and he blocked a big shot for me. And then after that, he had to feel the pain for about 2 weeks. So I felt bad for him.
I know.
Horrible feeling.
Everyone had stories about you. I mean, everyone I asked. I mean, they all like, there was like, I don't even have time to get to all of them. Yeah. Right? It's like ask him about when he got caught by Joe Quenneville eating a hot dog on the bench in Montreal.
Oh boy.
Well,
the good hot dogs.
I mean, the Sheehan show, exactly. I'm deep into, I don't know, probably second period. And, they have them laying in the training table, in the coach's room. They're everywhere, right?
Yep.
So sure enough, now as the backup, in my defense, the backup goalie doesn't sit on the bench. He sits you're like a paid spectator. You're across sitting in the aisleway. So I might as well been a fan that night. So I came out for the second period and I had one of the hot dogs in my glove. And I was like, okay, I can just chip away at this during the game here. And I was eating it, so I would hold the glove up to my face and then eat the hot dog and then put the glove down. I didn't realize the broadcast had an overhead camera. And they were and they jammed me up. Can you believe that? The broadcast, they're like, oh, Noodles enjoying himself a hot dog down there. And so after the second period, I'm sitting in the room, and I think Mike Kitchen comes in. He goes, hey, Q wants to see you. I'm like, oh, that's weird. Why does the coach want to see the backup? So I walk in, and he's got it. He's like, hey, take a look at this video. And I'm like, oh, he wants maybe he wants my opinion on the penalty kill, and it's the broadcast. He presses the button. It's a broadcast going, Noodles enjoying himself a hot dog. And it's they zoom in. And it's me just jamming a hot dog in over with my glove. And he goes, they're pretty good, aren't they, Noodles? And literally they had a box of hot dogs in there that the coaches were eating them too. But it was that's Q in a nutshell. It's very serious, but he knew when a little sly comment here or there, and it was pretty funny. So he called me in and called me to the carpet on that. There was, there's no denying it. I did eat a hot dog during the game when I was watching it.
Yeah, man. Hey, Q's the best. Listen, I know he's been through some shit. I hope he gets back behind a bench and they let him come back and coach, man. There's no doubting that he's one of the best coaches of all time. So
agreed.
We'll see how that plays out. Hey, what'd you think of Babcock? Just being around him, when you're in Toronto, and then now he's back behind the bench in Columbus. What are your thoughts on him returning, and just covering that situation on a daily basis? Did that even annoy you to have to talk about it all the time?
Well, yeah, because, Babcock is he's a guy that was a big personality. So, I rewind back to when he signed in Toronto. There was people that were tracking MLSE's plane taking off from Detroit. They got Babcock. Babcock's coming to Toronto. We got the best coach, Stanley Cup winning, Team Canada coach, okay?
Right.
He gets there. And he's as advertised. He's larger than life. He's a large man. He's intimidating. He's a no nonsense. Shoots from the hip. A little prickly with the media here or there, but for the most part, was really good to people. But what happened is, he was dealing with a young team. They make the playoffs that year. When Matthews and he realizes what he has. These young star players that need to, in essence, mature. That's all it is. They need to mature. So he would say things like, we got grown men that want to feed our families, and, these kids need to learn. And he wasn't wrong. But what it was is, by the time he got fired, all of the things that early on had endeared himself to fans, and we need somebody to, press buttons and be hard. What happens is that gets old. And, the Mitch Marner story of, him coming, saying to Mitch, who's in shape and who's out of shape and stuff like that. So it was they kicked him in the ass on the way out of town. So what I'll say is I hope that Mike, in his last couple of years, and it sounds like he has. I've watched an interview with him actually yesterday on NHL.com. And it sounds like he's changed in this. He did a lot of reflecting. And, all I'll say is that, we're all so quick to jump on people. I would much rather, through education, if you're willing to change, if you're willing to ask for a second chance or be given a second chance, then seize it, be better. Yeah. I'm better at 52 than I was at 42 and 32. And, I'm not a perfect person and never will be. So all I would say is that I hope that maybe he's a good reclamation. I don't know if reclamation's even the right term, but I hope that maybe he's a good story in Columbus this year instead of a polarizing one. So I don't know, because Torts is a hard coach, and somehow he's found a way to stick with it. And because I've always liked John Tortorella, and I don't know if people love the way he does business or not, but at the end of the day, people hire him because they see something that, and he's been able to survive in this league for a long time, by either morphing his philosophy or at least adapting. So I'm hoping that, Mike Babcock follows that strain and adapts his style of coaching to the new athlete, because there are new athletes now. There are new people in there where you have to treat people differently, whether you agree with it or not. I think it's more of a scenario. It's like, hey, this is what's expected of you, and if you don't do that, we're not going to have you around. So I hope that Mike's a good story. I don't know if it will be, because I'm not sure where Columbus is at as far as, I think they'll be better just through health. You get Werenski back, Johnny Gaudreau, Patrick Laine, if he's healthy. And they got that Marchenko Russian kid. They've got some players, like Kent Johnson. They've got some players there. And if the goalie can make some saves, Elvis, they might be a surprise team that steals some wins off teams.
Yeah, he was going through a lot last. I think he had some, listen, everything he went through the summer before and all that, I think kind of carried over. So not easy to handle all that situation. Hey, you've been great. Only a few more minutes, man. And I do want to ask you, because Toronto, listen, we see it on the outside. It is crazy. I mean, it's there's so much hype and so much, noise surrounding the Maple Leafs. It can be a little much at times, but sometimes you get it at the same time. What's your take on it? You feel like there's too much pressure on these guys? Does that lead to them not having postseason success? Is it too much attention? Can these guys not handle it? You're there, man. You never played for the Maple Leafs, but you played in other Canadian cities, and you played a long time in the NHL. So, what is it that's leading to them, going home early every year?
Well, I would say it's an adjustment. If it's too much, you're in the NHL, I look at it, and I came in, the end of my career was just the beginning of Twitter, the beginning of social media, and, the 15-second clip and, podcasts, all of that type of stuff. So, the information nowadays is so instantaneous, and everyone, like we talked about, has an opinion. So for me, as if I was playing in today's world, I think I would really struggle with all of the attention, because, I was a guy who really overthought things. So I always try and put that veil on it, where it's I'm not walking a mile in their shoes right now, just with the attention standpoint. Everything else, the puck, the size of the rink, the the games, paychecks are bigger, but you're still playing at the highest level. I understand that. But when I think of Toronto, and I think of, some Canadian cities that are very noisy. So I have this philosophy: 80% of this market, and Vancouver and Edmonton, will love you unconditionally. Doesn't matter. You play for the Leafs, you play for the Oilers, you play for the Canucks, you play for the Rangers, some of these big markets that are very noisy. You play for them, 80%. This is and I don't know if this percentage is accurate, but this is kind of the way I think. 80% will love you no matter what you do. They just support the team. They love the team. 20% are negative, and it doesn't matter. There's always a thread to pull on. And but the problem with the 20%, they're very loud.
Oh, yeah.
So that's where I feel like I look at it, a market, and Montreal is a very loud market as well. Right now it's quiet because the expectations on the team are low. But, these big markets that are passionate, they're always looking for something. And in today's world now, with so many different outlets of news, there's people that are always trying to be a little bit different, trying to go at a different angle. So I think the guys getting that attention, it's an adjustment, and not everybody handles it perfectly. But when it comes to on ice, yes, you could feel this market get very excited heading into the playoffs. And then Boston gets knocked off, and it's holy smokes, they got a chance here, and then you realize, well, Florida's a hell of a team too. But it's noisy. It's how you handle the noise where as a player, and I had one player say to me, he said he played in a bunch of different markets. And he said, I love Toronto, but he said, I struggled with it after a while because he said, having to be on every day, where you're playing, you practice on a Monday, there's not a game till Thursday. So you just want to get through practice sometimes. It's not the Stanley Cup. You just want to practice that day and go home and relax or watch a movie, but you had to be on because there's 50 reporters there interviewing and different angles and everything. And I remember him saying that grated on him, but he said he loved the market because there's so many perks that come with it too. You're a fourth line winger. You got 2 car deals. You got cell phones free. Hey, show up to here and we'll give you a bunch of money. And it's like, so there's lots of perks to these markets. So I don't subscribe to, okay, the market squishes the players so they can't perform. I just, at the end of the day, this group hasn't gotten it done on the ice because this group hasn't, crossed that threshold into, and it took Nate McKinnon, 9 years to do that? Yeah. It took Ovi 13. These guys are special players. The Matthews and Marner and, Nylander's a really good player. Tavares, it's hard to win in this league. So I don't subscribe to it's the market, but the market contributes to the noisiness of it. So all it does is amplify whatever's going on.
What'd you think of Dubis when he was there and now going to Pittsburgh?
Did
he baby the guys a little bit too much? You think it'll be good to have a fresh voice now at the top?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a Tree guy. I love him, so I'm biased because I played junior a little bit with Tree, and I have a relationship with him. But I think Kyle did a good job. But I do believe, and this comes with all organizations. But all organizations that have deep pockets. So I'm going to look at it in a bigger spectrum. So I look at the Dallas Cowboys. I look at the New York Knicks and teams that just have what it seems like endless counts of money and resources. They're just these big, endless, they're a big brand. Well, the Leafs are a big brand. So here, nothing seems like it's normal where it's okay, you've got chefs for the players, or do you have it seems like everything else is just a little bit bigger because they got the resources, where you go to a smaller market and it's hey, the team's a little tighter. They don't have as much budget to spend on X, Y, and Z. So when I look at Dubis, I think Dubis, he got into this organization and he used every inch of resources that were given to him, which is, hey, I'm going to have a minor league team that has, some one-way contracts down there because we can bury money down there. $700,000 is nothing to us. Where you look at other organizations, they're nickel and diming in the AHL type of thing because they're working on a tighter budget. So I think Kyle built this program here that was big. It was expansive, and they had every resource. So I think he did a very good job that way. But as far as babying the players, you can't be buddies with them. I think there's hard decisions, but I'll put it back to you guys because I've been rambling on a lot. Don't you think in today's world with the athletes, there has to be more of a partnership instead of a dictatorship if that's what we went through, Cam? To me, these guys are their own brands now. They beat to a little different drum, whether you like it or not. I think you have to be progressive in business at pro sports level in certain things. Again, the on-ice product, the way you want to coach, the way you want to have your team built is different. But I think what comes with all the off-ice stuff, and now it's a big money business. You got parents that travel. My parents went to 5 games in my whole career.
Yeah.
Now you go on the road, you see that's, that guy's parents. They're traveling with the team.
It's like a youth hockey team.
How many guys did you see the other day, Andy? Just at that little tournament.
Oh, yeah. My kid was playing. There's NHL guys everywhere. But he's talking the NHL that are traveling around.
Oh, yeah.
It's just I guess it's a different landscape. So I think Kyle did a good job, but I also think that, there might have been a philosophy, maybe stalemate. I don't know, with Brendan Shanahan and him, something didn't jive there by the end, because that exit was quite abrupt.
Oh yeah.
So I did, and then I think it was the worst kept secret. Like, oh, Pittsburgh's available, and I'm gonna, he lands there, and then the GM job is available in Pittsburgh. He gives it to himself. Well, of course you're gonna give it to yourself. Like,
exactly. He wants to. He's running the whole show, man. I mean,
exactly.
I mean, from his perspective, he played it pretty well, right? He got what he wanted, and he got a shit ton of money. I just, some of this, it just on the inside perspective, and in terms of from you living in Toronto, is interesting, because on the outside, I think everyone else has their own opinion.
Well, it's just a weird, anything. I just looking at it, they just had nothing but resources. So it's just I've never seen an organization. And I think it's cool, but I've never got an opportunity other than playing for the Rangers, which was, I was there for 2 months, and it was just a different level. It's like, hey, I want to go to the Knicks game. Oh yeah, here's floor seats. I want to go to Saturday Night Live. Yep, we set that up for you. It was a different level coming from Calgary, where it's hey, smaller market, Canadian market. So, I look at Toronto, you have to know what comes with this team and this organization and the history and the fan base. So it's a unique situation. I think Kyle embraced it, but did he make some mistakes along the way? Again, we go back to perfect people. There's no such thing. So it'll be interesting to see where they go from now. I don't know what the perception outside of Toronto is of this group, but I think Brad Treliving tried to address just a different makeup of a team. You go and get Bertuzzi, Domi, who plays with some grit, Ryan Reeves, guys that just maybe a little bit more irritable, that stand up for themselves, and maybe it drags them into a war in a different type of thought process, a mentality for a group heading into the playoffs.
Yeah, no, it'll be interesting. And Pittsburgh's interesting, I mean, listen, and I think having Crosby and Malkin and those I think that'll help Dubis. It's going to be a little bit of a different pushback than maybe he got from the star players in Toronto, who, are a little younger and less mature, haven't had the same type of team success. So it'll be different. I didn't even get to add.
You're right about that. Yeah. You're right about that. It's a great point.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I appreciate it.
Kyle's going into a situation that's already established.
Yeah.
So Kyle was was his first GM job, and he's growing with those players. Okay. He's going to a scenario that's had success. Yes, they've got deep pockets and all that, but you're going to an organization that has history of winning more recent than not, put it that way. And you've got players that go, this is how we do it here.
Right.
You don't need to lay it out for us. You don't need to lay out dress code and that. We already established how our culture is, because our leadership's in place and has been there for many years. Yeah. So it's a great point that you make. Kyle's going to a scenario where it's already established, and it's his second time on the job now. So now he can look back at maybe some of the things that he didn't like in Toronto and go, well, I want to put my stamp on this organization, but I already have a great leadership group in place. I already have these things that I can work around. And I think he's done a great job. If you look at his bottom six, that's where they struggled. Everyone's talked about, Tristan Jarry can be better, all of that, but it's more, they didn't have the depth. There was a big drop off. And to me, he's kind of rounded his team out into a really formidable top 12 there. And I think, you add the D2, that Graves kid is a hard guy to play against. I like him. Gave him $4.5 million. Yeah, it was a 7-year deal, but you make it now. Carlson and Letang, they're a lot different dynamics. So I think Kyle's done a really good job in a real short amount of time there, but it'll be interesting because I just, the transition from a younger kind of having to grow up with those guys to an older team that's already established, he's going to have to learn very quickly too.
Yeah, he got a Chari. We saw him here. Obviously, you guys saw him in Toronto.
I like him.
So that'll be good. Hey, I didn't even ask you about your Edmonton pub crawl, which apparently is famous that you used to host. You used to have this pub crawl apparently. And I'm not letting you get out of here because some of our listeners right now, especially the younger ones, are probably like, why are you calling them Noodles, man? You got to tell the people where that name came from too. So
okay, so I'll work backwards. Noodles, It's not a sexy story, but in junior hockey out west, and again, I'm 52 years old, so we're talking 35 years ago. I we would stop at these like really crappy like diners at the side of the road. You know, you're driving from, you know, Spokane to Seattle, and it's like a, you know, just a gritty cafe. It's Salisbury steak and mashed potatoes. And then second period, you got the burps and heartburn. So on the buses back then, this is before cell phones, before anything, tablets, we had one plug-in on the bus. So I started bringing a crock pot, and I would cook Kraft mac and cheese, like mac and cheese. And instead of going in and getting heartburn from you name it, some sort of diner, I would just make mac and cheese a couple hours before the game and just carb up that way. So, you know, it stuck with me kind of through junior, and then you turn pro and you think maybe it goes away. And it's almost like you say like, hey, you know, don't call me that. People double down on it. So, you know, it's, I've been Noodles ever since maybe 18, 19 years old. And it was just because I would cook noodles for the guys, to the point where some of the guys would be like, I'm going to stay on the bus and eat with you instead of going and having to wear a diaper during the game. So
old country buffet.
Instead of turning the bus into that plane going to Spain.
I do not miss that.
You don't need to have a biohazard on the bus. That's the last thing.
Exactly. And the pub crawl.
Yep.
So this is late 90s, pre-camera phones, pre all of that stuff. I used to fly a band in from St. Louis called the Well Hungarians, John Holzum and the crew. They used to play at Pop's Annex and some of the places that,
of course they
are forbidden now.
Western Illinois.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Was it Sage? Is that what it's called? So anyways, we used to have a pub crawl, and then like it was called like a 70s party, like a Value Village party the next night. So I'd rent a hall, fly the band in, we'd have a live band, and everyone would just like dress up. It would be like 200 people, and it would be like, you know, a 70s party, or, you know, the pub crawl. I'd rent a double-decker bus, and we'd go like to 8 or 9 different bars in the city, and we'd either have T-shirts. And one year we dressed up like superheroes, and guys were like, and I was the skinny fat Hulk, and, you know, guys were like Spider-Man and all of these things. So it was great. Like, but I just couldn't envision that stuff nowadays. Can you imagine, you know, Bush Nevis walking around in a Hulk uniform at a bar, you know, going in Soulard, you know, it would be trending on Twitter, and we had a lot of fun, and it was clean fun back then. There wasn't like fights or anything stupid. It was just, you know, guys enjoying, like, I think there was always in June. So you're well before the season, and you're having drinks, and it's camaraderie. And so it was a 2-night affair. It was the pub crawl and then the party. And we did it for about 4 or 5 years. And then it became really expensive and then really tough to rent a hall, because we would always lose our damage deposit every time. So we had to move venues. But we had a lot of fun back then. And, you know, now it's just a different type of fun we have to have.
Yeah, they can't even go to a wedding. They can't even go to a wedding now without, like, you know, tweets of everybody like having fun at a wedding, you know. So,
yeah, Johnny Gaudreau did you see Johnny Gaudreau on Brady Tkachuk's shoulders there?
Exactly.
That was awesome.
Brady's at every wedding, I think. he says yes to every wedding. I know,
but we just had Matthew on with us, and he was with us live here, and he was standing right next to Brady when Johnny Hockey's on Brady's shoulders, and I'm like, do you have any idea you're being filmed? He's like, no, not at all. Yeah, I mean, somebody's in there.
Yeah, but those Tkachuk, that family, they live the right way. I'm a big fan of their, Walt and, you know, and Brady and Matthew. Like, they're really, I don't know, they're very close. They're very loving.
Yes.
And you know what? The one thing I always say, they come to play like that. Matthew came to play. He's a superstar. He's embraced Florida. He was great in Calgary. You know, and Brady, for me, is an unbelievable leader. He's an unbelievable player. He's a great person. Like, I can't say enough about the Tkachuks, and, you know, and they've been raised the right way. And to me, I've got a lot of respect for them.
Oh yeah, I saw a video of you today actually jumping on top of Keith Tkachuk though, like in the crease. He was playing for the Then you fought like Reichel or something. I'm like, what? Noodles? I had no idea how crazy you were. You're fighting Tomas Bokun. No. I mean, you're like going crazy in all these other games.
Okay,
too.
So quickly that I got thrown in that game because Louis DeBrusk scored 2 goals on Fierzy from center ice, and Q had it up. He's like, all right, get the hell in there. Like, what's going on? And then what happened is it's the exact same mindset, and this is the dumb mindset. I jumped on Walt trying to start a fight, and Walt got up and beat up Ricard Pearson.
Yeah.
So then Robert Reichel was there, so I attacked him, and then Habby Boulin came down. I was just trying to stir it up to get our team going. If you look at the box score, I'm not sure if it was that game. I took the loss in that game, and I didn't allow a goal. We got to 4-2, and then, 3-2. They scored an empty netter. Q pulled me. They made it 4-2, and then we made it 4-3. So on paper, they scored the goal while I was the goalie of record. So I got a loss, and I never allowed a goal in the game. So it was kind of funny. But yeah, that's these little altercations. It sounds like I've got pretty good excuses for them, but maybe I should just own them.
The stories are great, man. People are going to love this, man. So
absolutely.
All the best to you and O-Dog and Hayes. You guys do a hell of a job, man.
You guys do great, man.
So keep it going, Noodles. We look forward to seeing you during the season,
coming on, big dog.
All right. Well, thanks for having me, guys. We'll chat soon.
Right on.
You got it, man.
See you, buddy.
The Cam Strick podcast is brought to you by Bellman and Bellman.com. BEHLMANN.com. Get out there to Detroit, Missouri. Check it out. On one side, you got the Buick, the GMC. Options for everybody. Then right across the street, you got the Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. Again, find something that works for you and get yourself a new set of wheels in time for the summer.
Yeah.
That was Jamie McLennan. They call him Noodles. Now he is a media superstar up in Toronto.
Oh, he's great, man. He's a great storyteller. I did lose track one time. I don't know if we kept that in.
Oh, my God. We should have mentioned that in the intro, too.
Oh, yeah.
He asked you a question. He threw it back to you, and you didn't even know what to say. You weren't listening.
Wait, what?
He threw it back to you.
There's twice I fucked up, I think.
Oh, there was?
Okay, no, the one where he's like, okay, Cam, answer me this. Mm-hmm. He's going to ask me a question, but then he started talking for 15 minutes, and then at the end, I don't remember what he asked me.
And he played it off perfectly because your response made absolutely zero sense.
No. That was two different times.
Okay.
The first time, he asked me a question. Mm-hmm. He goes, Cam, well, how about you? Let me ask you. Mm-hmm. But he asked me the question, Andy, but he kept going and going and going and going, and then by the end of it, I don't remember what he said. And then the second time, he went on for a long time, and he was talking about how the Toronto Maple Leafs players' parents follow them on road trips.
Correct.
When I got confused,
He thought it was youth hockey they were talking about.
Well, I got a dab pen, and I started smoking that, I think, and I kind of lost focus, and my mind went somewhere else.
You weren't, paying attention.
And then I answered it in a different way.
You're like, oh, yeah, my parents went to every game. I'm like, what?
No, Andy. I go, Andy, remember you just saw a bunch of players, too, and they're at tournaments.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Because
and Andy goes, and Andy kind of, it doesn't happen much, but when Andy gets, weirded out with something I said, especially when there's somebody on, because, it affects him, too. He makes this weird face, and I'm like, oh, fuck.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, I fucked up.
You got the look.
I got the look.
Shut the fuck up. You
go, what?
Yeah, exactly.
I go, oh, yeah. I felt bad for that. My bad.
I know.
I apologize.
I may have to fine you for that.
All right.
Maybe $100 or something.
He wants money. He wants money. That's what you want? You want, my money? You want Brody's
money,
want my money. He fucks up?
Well, no,
you want to find Brody?
Brody doesn't fuck up.
Well, he did post that on Twitter.
Yeah.
You just got to watch that. Brody, you didn't fuck up on that. It's all good, man. Jeez, Brody's fucking great.
Although
I did mess that up. Yeah. My bad.
For the first time, Brody didn't call me back, though, last week. I got a little bit rattled. I had to call him twice. I was just making sure
he answered every single time when I was rattled the other day.
And I'm like,
I needed to talk to you.
I bet you he doesn't even know that I called him the first time because he would have called back. And he answered the second time when I called.
When I needed him the other day to go over things what other messages
and he
are
was
you
there
getting?
For you.
Oh, yeah. And so were you.
Yes, I was.
Sometimes you need that. I was getting rocked, dude, and I didn't like it.
So take back what you said the other day when you're like, oh, when I call Andy and I'm telling him something, and he's like, I hear him texting away on his phone or looking something up. No, I was listening.
The difference. This directly affects you, too. Mm-hmm. You think I'm going to get canceled? No. You're going to want the one that's more in a jam than I am. I think we'll be okay with our sponsors here if they understand.
You would never put me in that spot.
I know, but once they start bringing you into it, and I'm like, fuck.
Cam's the one saying it, and people are tweeting out
about it. I'm like, no, delete it.
Get Andy out of here. I'm like, I know. I'm not even
I know. Because they're not listening. They think that's probably you talking.
Right, I think so.
Because they're not fans, dude.
No.
So it's all good. We cater to you guys.
I will say, man, we cater to you guys, but
that's all.
Our objective is never to create any type of conflict or controversy or offend people.
Yeah, but sometimes you bullshit people. Like, I'm not going to be a pussy. Like, if I'm going to call somebody out, we'll call them out. I'll call a group out. If I'm going to chirp Antifa or something like that, fuck them. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm not going to.
I haven't heard from them.
No, they're around. Big time. Funny how they are. How can you not infiltrate
Been kind of
that?
quiet.
How can you not figure out the ringleader of Antifa? How? It's the easiest. I could put a fucking purple wig on Brody right now, send him right in with a sign that says, I love climate change, and then just see where the ringleader is, blah, 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 and then where they come from. Who drops them off with these riots? Like, seriously, it's very bizarre. It's all good.
What are you passionate?
Man, you already asked me this question.
Enough about that you would protest.
Nothing. It depends on the situation.
I had friends in college that would like leave for the weekend to go to some protest like at the other side of the country and like get arrested and shit.
Hey, don't go down to the Capitol building and protest and try to jump in. You'll get 17 motherfucking years, boy.
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
If you try like January 6th style?
Yeah, those guys got big time.
They're not getting 17 years.
Yeah, they are.
Are they?
Mm-hmm.
17 years? Who got 17 years? Hey, all my fact checkers, man. I know I hear from all y'all. Saskatchewan to Manitoba to PEI, man. They come looking for you. They come.
Bet?
So
you want to bet on it?
I'm just saying.
Do you want to bet on this?
I don't.
What did I say wrong
need
today?
to bet, but if you're wrong,
look it up.
They're gonna come.
22 years. I'm sorry.
Who did? The guy with the big buffalo head?
No. Oh, he's in jail too. Yep.
What did he get 72 or 22 years?
Infiltrating. Yeah,
dude,
breaking in.
And they should, because like
you're an idiot.
Like they're sitting in like chambers and shit.
But if you're rioting and you're burning down things, man, you should get all of them. Should
anybody who's rioting, anybody who's burning, who's just destructing, who's ruining businesses and livelihood.
Yep. You should get fucking
the
rocked.
Ultimate price.
And you also should get rocked if you commit a gun crime with an illegal gun.
Yes.
I mean, 10 years right off the bat, boom. Put these guys, they're all repeat offenders, dude. It's crazy. So we don't need to go down this rabbit hole again. My bad. It's all good.
Well, you keep taking us down there.
Did I?
Jamie McLennan was a feisty little guy.
Yeah. I like him a lot. Very smart man. Very smart.
It's always enjoyable to interview broadcasters, too, because they can just really, like, flow. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It was a conversation that really flowed. But I saw him fight Thomas Vokoun. I saw him go after, like, a number of different people. I could see him being, like, if you're a starting goaltender, like, loving having him as
Can I correct you?
As your tandem.
Can I correct you?
From now or from the interview?
No, just like he's feisty that he'll snap real quick and maybe slash you, but he's not like standing in there and going to go toe to toe like a Ray Emery or like a. Okay. So like it's all good.
He went down to the other end to fight Thomas Vokoun. I think he started punching him when he was down though, and Vokoun got up all crazy.
He looks so young.
He does.
He just looks like a kid.
He does.
You know.
I'm not saying like he's like the toughest, like
Billy Smith.
No.
Yeah.
But Billy Smith was his coach.
Billy Smith's awesome.
Billy Smith.
Have we had him on?
Not yet.
Dude, that'd be kind of cool. But
I know.
The old school guy is kind of.
We'll get him on.
Yeah, he'd be cool.
Billy Smith? Hell yeah. He loved Hextall too.
Yeah.
Jamie McLennan.
Yeah, he did. He pumped up Hextall.
I love hearing that about Hextall, that he was a great teammate.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man, he was odd. Oh, he pumped up Grant Fuhr a lot too.
He did. Well, he was like in awe of him.
Grant Fuhr, yeah. And I asked about the Twitter thing with
Grant Fuhr. Realize that.
I told you.
And he understood that too.
That's why I did the opposite of what Grant Fuhr does. But Grant Fuhr's not posting towing the line of like talking about Cougars and young Connor Bedard.
So Grant Fuhr,
an idiot like me.
By the way, I did a hockey clinic one time, and they did like this like a bubble thing at like a science center. It was like a science of hockey.
Yeah. And
I was like in high school, and they asked a bunch of kids to go like work it, and I worked with Grant Fuhr for like a full day, dude. He was cool as shit.
Yeah, back when he
had these green like dope man like Nikes on. He was just cool.
Yeah, man, I like
back in the day.
And so did Jamie McLennan, big time.
Mm-hmm.
And Kiprusoff.
Oh yeah, and Luongo.
Kiprusoff like doesn't answer his phone.
That's hilarious.
He's like, I don't give a fuck.
I kind of like Kipper for that,
dude. I like off the grid sons of bitches. I kind of like. Listen to me. Mm-hmm. I kind of like off the grid motherfuckers more than in my face. Like,
I know need attention.
Yeah, but we have to do that, and that's part of our. And like that's the last thing I don't even like doing videos. Like I like talking like this, but I don't like being, hey, Kate and I are here. Okay, here's what you're going to do. I did a little video about cooking fucking seafood the other day.
Yeah, but you didn't even
fine.
do the video. You told me Kate put it up.
No, I posted
because I told you put the wrong first form link.
Yeah, but I posted on my Insta.
And you're like, I didn't do it. Kate did that.
Yeah, she just posted it on my Insta story.
Throws Kate under the bus.
Well, she done fucked up.
Take some responsibility.
No, but I cooked a meal and it was kind of
good. Oh, how'd that turn out?
My stomach got fucked up.
Really?
Yeah. Man, you can't just cook a seafood boil. I think I spent like $300. You can't cook a seafood boil and expect to like munch on it, 2 hours later. It just doesn't taste the same.
You can. The way I make it. You can eat that the next day, the day after.
Ooh, for me, it just was too buttery. It's very thick. My stomach got beat up a little bit too much.
Really?
But I did it.
You're blaming it on the seafood boil.
Oh, well, you're just eating lobster and crab and butter and garlic. I'm like this dripping over my face. My face broke out. Like it's intense on your stomach. You know what I mean? Who are you kidding?
Did Kate get sick?
You eat a carrot and you're fucking probably like, help me. I have diarrhea. Like,
Did Kate get sick?
She nibbles on things. You know what I mean?
Is she an eater?
No. Does she look like
no, but like
she eats like you. You know what I mean?
Like my wife is very fit, but she isn't she's not. I can take her out to dinner, dude, and she's gonna like order a meal. And
your wife goes, I love the seafood boil except for the sausage.
Is that what she said?
Yeah, and I'm like, that's andouille sausage.
She said that to you on Instagram.
Yeah,
that's hilarious. Except for the sausage.
I like when she comments on that stuff. She loves it. I always give her a like on when she's hanging with the kids, though.
Okay, really good. I sent her to Michigan this past weekend. She did that trip.
Good for her, man. That's not easy to do.
It's not easy.
It's not easy. All the bullshit. You got to be organized. You got to make sure he's fucking ready to rock, or she's ready to rock. Whatnot. Yes. Like, is everything good? Are you taped up good and stuff like that? But she also needs to do that too.
I get a little jealous. I got a little jealous because
she can't be doing you can't be doing everything.
No.
Like I need you here.
I know.
The Blues need you with shit.
But now like Chloe wants her at the games. Like
okay, fine.
I know.
Let them have a bond.
I know.
You know what I mean? You can't do everything. Let them have a bond.
Yeah. Well, I want them to have. I want them to have.
Let them do their thing, dude.
Little Ivy's sick too, man. See, school starts.
That's what I worry about. That she needs
school
attention.
Starts. They get sick. So I was looking forward to having a weekend with her home with us.
That would be cool.
I wasn't going to go on the ice. She was going to come with me to all the practices. We were going to do stuff in between and whatever. And she was sick, dude.
Yeah, she's at that stage.
She literally. Here's how it went down.
Her sickness, look, like it's not.
No, and here's how it went down. She's like, I'm not feeling well. I'm like, do you have to throw up? And she's like, no. I'm like, because if you do, you need to get up and like whatever, go to the bathroom. She's like, no, I'm okay. I'm like, you sure? You don't look right. And she literally just like right in front of my face throws up all over the couch.
Well, then listen to her sometimes.
All over the couch. And like,
you're not giving her enough attention.
So I've got the cleaning lady. I've got the cleaning company coming out to clean out the couch today. You don't know Ivy enough
because you are.
Don't say that.
I'm just saying.
Don't say that. That's not true.
I'm just saying.
That's not true.
Is she not getting enough attention because of sports? Because of sports.
Well, she doesn't want to play sports. And I don't force my daughter into sports if she's not into it.
No doubt.
You know what I'm saying?
But I'm telling you, like, if you're going to think, if you're her.
Most women I knew in my lifetime were not like hardcore into sports,
no doubt.
Dude.
No, I know. But sometimes you just, I don't know. Like,
yeah, dude, she gets, my wife gives her so much damn attention.
Just asking.
She gets whatever
Chloe's
she
doing
wants,
this,
dude.
Ty's doing that.
I know. But you'd be surprised.
She might. Do you think she's kind of like, I need something?
I talk to her about it all the time. I ask her.
Because when you guys go to like say like their grandmother's house, and they come, wait, but they're like, Ty, hockey attention. Chloe, soccer attention. Are they giving her attention?
Ivy gets so much damn attention.
I'm just curious.
Because everyone
I've seen this happen with my cousins
girl,
and stuff.
She's the sweetest little thing. Everybody loves her so. Like, it's like all the cousins are just like gravitating towards her.
She's not punching me in the you know what.
No, she's not.
No, she's not. Ty will. If he does it again, he might get bagged up.
Well, we'll call our cousin.
A ragdoll.
Sean Strickland.
Oh,
you ain't doing nothing
I don't
to
need
him. What up, Sean?
Big Sean Strickland.
Going to make the family proud. Firstform.com/Cam Strick. That is a link, and it is very important to use our link when you order anything from First Form.
Gotta do it. Gotta do it.
We are First Form.
Damn right.
Or I am First Form.
He is him.
No, I am first form.
I am him.
I am first form.
That's what Deion says.
IRC, baby.
Him.
Oh, yeah. He is him. I
him.
hear a lot of people saying that right now.
I don't know.
No, I'm him.
You are what?
Him.
He, him?
No, I am him.
He, him?
Dude, that dude's him. I hear people saying that. Like instead of being like, that guy.
No, that's like a Jesus reference.
It's like a new thing.
Think. Right?
No, His Imperial Majesty was like Haile Selassie from
him. Jesus reference, I thought.
Like Rastafarianism, HIM. His Imperial Majesty.
Him, like you know
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like, it used to be like somebody like does something like, God, he's sick. Now it's like, he's him.
All right. Yeah. Well, him could be a Seth.
So, no, you would never say that.
He is him. Well,
no, you wouldn't say that.
Psycho.
So, Cam, from now on, can you say like you're him?
You're him, dude.
Thank you.
Good Lord.
I'm him.
Man, I'm fucking him, dude.
Hey, you want to know who's him?
He is me.
You want to know who's him?
Who?
Chrissy and Eric.
God dang right. Eric Conley.
They are both him. Can you have more than one him?
Yeah.
What's the plural?
Man, I don't know. They're good dudes, though.
They'll
help you.
Are him.
They'll help you in a serious way.
Yeah.
In a serious way, because we could be serious. Get help.
Yeah.
You know somebody that needs help. Go to Illinois Recovery Center. I'm telling you, they will help you. They know the game. They've been through hell just like you're going through, just like your brother's going through, just like your mother, your cousin, your friend. Help them out. Give them a call. What is it, Andy?
Didn't you say everybody listening either needs help
what is it, Andy?
Or knows somebody that needs help?
Yes, I said that a million times.
888-743-0971. 888-743-0971. You can email them to info@IllinoisRecoveryCenter.com.
Damn right, baby.
And message us if you want to, if you like missed that and you're like, hey, I just need that information again. We can certainly get you in touch with Eric and Chrissy and make sure you take advantage of.
It's Chris, but we call him Chrissy.
Correct.
Because that's what I did.
888-743-0971. Right outside of St. Louis, man, but they'll take you from
Swansea, Illinois.
Brett Tesson and Tesson Roofing ask about that nano shield. Find out what separates them from the rest of the roofing industries in America. Nothing quite like Tesson Roofing, man. They are the absolute best.
Would you like saving money?
Oh, yeah.
Well, then they'll hook you up.
Thank you.
You know. And not to mention, like, there's a bunch of shit that's going to go down this winter, too. Your roof's going to get all fucked up from trees landing on it. There's going to be ice storms going on. There's a lot of shit's going down. Let them take care of it. Let them take care of the insurance.
TessonRoofing.com. They are preferred option from all the major insurance companies, too.
Damn right.
And not many roofing companies can say that, Cam.
No, I know. Hell no.
Some can. One of them is Tesson Roofing. Most can't. I'm not going to say everybody can't, but most can't. Sparx and Sparx.com, Cam. Tell us about Sparx.
What do you want to know?
Well, you know what we want to know.
No, you want to simplify your kid's life and their hockey career? Well, sharpen their fucking skates before you go out of town so dipshit boy don't have to do it. Have it in your basement. It's a good investment.
Who?
Seth. Fucking idiot. Fucking creeping out the neighborhood
Hey,
kids.
Can I help you?
Just killing your cats and shit.
I told you.
Psycho.
Told you
he's
that.
Gross.
Seth the other day, man.
He's a demon.
He cut down this kid's.
He's Damien.
This kid's stick, and he cut it like 6 inches.
I should call him Damien.
Short.
He's a weirdo. Now there's a biblical term with the name Seth too. There's a Seth back in the day that lived till
Solomon.
900 years old, I believe.
Bartholomew?
Seth something, and he was smashing women left and right.
Really?
Yes. Breeding.
Do you know
like a demon?
Do you know what book this is in?
I don't know. But he lived till like 9. So he's like a fucking vampire.
Did you go to church as a kid?
No, but I worked with a guy named Seth, and his mom and dad called him the radio show. We asked him about why you call him Seth, and she goes, well, it's a biblical term. And then we looked up Seth, and he was a fucking demon.
Really?
Yes. We were like,
oh
Jesus.
My God. Well, that's all coming together.
I know.
God. Although the Seth he worked with is completely separate.
Loveliest human being in the world.
From the Seth that you find at the hockey
But we
shop.
looked it up. We're like, geez, and we called him out on radio.
Oh, my God.
I know.
Well,
it was pretty funny, actually, to be honest with you.
Well, Sparx and Sparx.com. Use our promo code, Cam and Strick. You're going to save more money than Black Friday and Cyber Monday. It'll save you the most money you can save over any deal they hand out during the course of the year. They got some new products coming out, too, man. Get that vacuum, too. You got to clean it out and stuff like that.
Hell yeah.
Sparx, Sparx.com. Bellman and Bellman.com. Say hi to Danny boy.
Danny, what up?
And
boy.
Dale.
Hey.
And Kenny. Happy birthday, Kenny.
Happy birthday, Kendo.
And get out there to Troy, Missouri, man. If you have a used car, they want your used vehicle. They'll give you top dollar for it. Everybody gets approved, Cam. Everybody. No matter how bad your credit is, it doesn't matter. Everybody's getting approved at Bellman Automotive in Troy, Missouri. Buick GMC on one side of the street. On the other side, it's Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. All in Troy. Support our sponsors.
Hell yeah.
And support great people who support hockey. Like all our sponsors, including Danny Bellman and everybody over there at Bellman Automotive. Cam, I hope you have a great rest of your week.
Thanks, man.
I hope everybody out there enjoys Jamie McLennan. We got some great interviews coming your way. Training camps are going to open very soon. We got lots to talk about that we'll continue to get into here on the Cam Strick podcast. In the meantime, crush the like button. Give us 5 stars. Give us a comment, man. Love reading all the reviews and all that.
Yeah.
Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, follow us on all our platforms and continue to support everything we're doing, man. We love talking to you. We love doing this each and every week for all our listeners out there from Saskatchewan to New York City, man.
Yeah, baby.
And everywhere in between.
Love all y'all.
All y'all.
See you, dudes.
Thanks for listening to the Cam Strick podcast.